So just a heads up to everybody that's out there in our live stream land and live stream all around the world. We are just waiting for cars to make their way out onto the circuit for the South African Endurance Series Round 2. It's the Buffalo City 700, a 4-hour endurance race here at the East London Grand Prix Circuit. And as soon as we've got cars on track, we will come back to you with full live coverage, courtesy of incredible support from Bigfoot Express Freight, Toys R Us, and Haval, South Africa, for the support of the South African Endurance Series race meeting here at the East London Grand Prix Circuit. We'll be back shortly. A big welcome to the East London Grand Prix circuit and round 2 of the South African Endurance Series, the magnificent and historic picturesque circuit in East London on the east coast of South Africa. A big welcome to everybody worldwide watching us on our live stream feed as you come to us now with the cars rolling out on their form-up lap. They will come under the starters' orders and of course behind the Haval Jolion, our official pace car for this weekend, courtesy of Haval South Africa. Big thanks to Bigfoot Express Freight and to Toys R Us, our official sponsors for this meeting and the second round of this incredible South African Endurance Series. The man on pole position, an incredible effort from the Harp Motorsport team yesterday to send Yuri Swart out to put his pull beam on pole position. Alongside him, Stradale Motorsport's number 1 car of Charles Oranges and Arnie Neveling. And just behind them will be the second of those Stradale cars with the little battles cars from earlier on in some of the race action that we've seen so far here today with the South African GT Racing Association, Chop Sapuka and Zolile Latlaka sharing the car. And unfortunately, Chops had a big moment in the first race of the South African GT Racing Association race and damaged the back end of that Lamborghini. So there was a little bit of work to do there, and a little bit of work to be done now in a slightly battle-scarred car for both Chop Sapuka and XO. Coming to shot just through that heat haze is Oranges, but I think it'll possibly be Ari Neveling at the wheel of that Lamborghini for the start. And a big welcome to all of our friends, fans, and family who have joined us from all around the world as we kick things off here for 4 hours of racing. It's the Bigfoot Express Freight and Toys R Us Buffalo City 700, round 2 of the South African Endurance Series. We are going out via 4 platforms on Facebook. It's on the Voice of Choice, yours truly's page. It's on ILEB. It goes out on up to 60 seconds as well as on the South African Endurance Series racing page. And then on YouTube, if you can't pick us up on Facebook, for those people who don't have Facebook, we do have a YouTube link as well to the up to 60 second page on YouTube. Up to 60 seconds, of course, the production team behind the scenes there, Paul and Daryl, bringing you all the action that you can see out on track. And of course, a big thanks to them and the entire team for the efforts that have been put in to give you the footage. We do also have to thank a couple of people involved in today's production, and a massive thanks to Link Online, specializing in all things IT, particularly broadband connectivity and network management, for the sponsorship of our data today. They have closed pit lane, as you can see, and that means that the Golf GTI from Volkswagen Motorsport will be starting from pit lane. They had a couple of issues with boost yesterday, and it didn't allow the boys, Daniel Rowe and Keegan Masters, to get out and qualify, which means they automatically have to start from the pit lane. And that will be, of course, as the cars roll through on their rolling and rolling start. And once all the cars have passed, the gate will be open, and whoever's going to be piloting that car initially will get a chance to get on track. On a side note from Team Perfect Circle, getting in the mix there quickly for a quick snap to put up on his Instagram posts. It's the pull beam of Yuri Swart, Francis Carruthers, and Greg Walker on the front row there in pole position, alongside there of the Golf Racing and Paget and Parallel Racing Stradale Motorsport Lamborghini Huracan GT Evo of Arnie Neveling and Charles Oranges. Second row looks like there's still some work being done on the Lamborghini of XO and Chop Sapuka, because he's not on the second row there. You can see there is a gap in third place. Fourth place, incredible outing, of course, yesterday as well, and some magnificent driving coming out of the Bigfoot Express Freight team of Mikel Patamba and Brad Scorer, who, of course, are sharing that drive in the Porsche. Then behind them, the fastest Polo in the country at the moment, it's Saul Hack and Andre Besaidenote in the Team Perfect Circle Polo. That's a Super Cup GTC, GTI, of course, of Saul Hack and Andre Besaidenote, but it's actually not the Team Perfect Circle car, although it is in Team Perfect Circle colours. It's straight out of the Bucket List Racing team and stable of Chris Budnick and prepped by Fast Developments, and Fast Freddy will have it going. Big welcome to Tracy Lee Stephen. Thanks for joining us, Trey. Thank you so much. Tiny's down in Cape Town. Tracy's in PE. And Pete Maloney, of course, is in Randburg, Johannesburg, in South Africa. We've got people from all around the world watching us, though, so big welcome to all of you. Alongside the Bucket List Racing 212 and Team Perfect Circles, on episode note and Saul Hack at the wheel of the car to start things out will be the Backdraft Cobra of Mike McLaughlin, car 52. And we go to ATS 2000 there in 7th place ahead of the Haval Edenvale Porsche. And I think that car is only on the grid for the hour of the first hour of the 4-hour endurance. So that's how things are going to kick things off now. I'm also going to go live on our PA system as well. And welcome to everybody out there on FM land, as well as around the track watching us from pit lane. We do have a couple of guys that are in pit lane. There is a very good example of one car that should not be in pit lane, but of course with issues yesterday in that Golf GTI 8. Nathan's Motorsport and Steve Green would have got to work at that with Mike Owers as well to get the Golf GTI up and trucking for 4 hours of racing now. Down the beach straight go the rest of the pack, and that of course is Bucket List Racing's Mini Cooper. So beg your pardon, it's the Alpha first, the Alpha that they've got. Then Team Flat Out, great to have Team Flat Out here, a local team of course. Let's give them a little bit of a mention as well. It's great to see the amount of effort that gets put in from Team Flat Out. Chris Radloff, part of that team. And of course a massive thanks to Zenith East London, Port Elizabeth, and Industrial Welding Supplies, Mayfair Gearbox and Diff Services, the Eco Tanks, Exum to Ullman's Automotive, Ronnie's Execucar, Platinum Signage, Pro CV and Steering, and Ian's Auto Clinic for the support there of Team Flat Out with Chris Radloff and his teammates at the wheel of that car. Looks like a problem as well for one of the Cobras, stuck on the sideline and probably having to start from pit lane as well by the looks of things. But let's go back to that grid we were mentioning. Team Flat Out there in 10th place ahead of Old Dog Racing. Old Dog Racing ahead of the Wright Motorsport Cobra. That's also a very big car to watch out for as we go across the line and start the race down towards turn 1. The pull beam side by side as they go down there. It's certainly going to be an exciting race day. Pity that Stewie White is not part and parcel of it as he joins us all around the world as part of our live stream feed. Thanks for being here, buddy. He, of course, would have been part and parcel of the team that Stradale Motorsport put together. See a couple of guys getting a little bit sideways as they came through there, and a Haval Edenvale Jolion moves into its position to take up a spot where we need to be. We've come through, and of course that's down towards Rifle Corner. We're seeing the GTI is on track. Now down on the braking point into Cochabana. Already, Ari Neveling opening up a bit of a margin over Yuri Swart. Ari and Umpy have been at it for a while. They have fought not only in sports cars and polos, but in karting for a long, long time. So there's an arch rivalry there between the two first drivers on track, no doubt about it. Mikael Patamba getting to start in the Porsche and sorting things out. Behind him is Mike McLaughlin. He's just ahead there of the Bucket List Racing Team Perfect Circle car of Saul Hack. Then there is a absolute pit of Cobras that come flying through there. In amongst them is a Mini Cooper. Watch out for Daniel Rowe and Keegan Masters as they start to make their way through there. Keep an eye out in the background as well for, of course, the Lotus that's coming through there. Definitely going to be a car to watch out for. A very fast little Lotus. Tucked on the inside. Oh, forcing the way through there almost from the word go. That Golf GTI 8. Keegan Masters, I think, starting the race out as they cross the line and complete lap number 1. But we've got 4 hours of racing still to go here. And a bit of a hectic start to the first part of this proceeding, but needless to say, we'll all be sorted out as soon as possible. So go down into Potter's Pass, fastest part of the track. Rifle Corner, the exit part of Rifle Corner. Great to see all of the competitors out there. And of course, it's Arnie Neveling who leads out over Yuri Swart. Patamba in 3rd. McLaughlin ahead of Saul Hack. Then it will be the Haval Edenvale Porsche of Roy Aubry ahead of Mike Radloff. Radloff there in the 11 car starting the race for Team Flat Out. It's Richard Ritz in 8th place. He leads out, or in fact he's in 2nd place at the moment in Class E. And he'll be partnering up with his good friend Steve. And great to see Villiers Rasmus up there as well behind Richard Ritz. And it's Jonathan Thomas. He'll lead things out there in the all-blue Cobra. Philip Meyer in the People Group car. It's a sort of turquoise and black machine under attack now from the Ligier, just in the foreground of that shot. That is Saul Hack flying through. Look at this, Cobras lining up. Big attack there coming from the front end of the Cobra brigade, and it looks like it is Team Flat Out who's just ahead there of the factory car of Backdraft Racing's Mike McLaughlin. So a good start there from McLaughlin's point of view, but losing out one position. Across the line go the first two. No worries at all there for Ari or for Umpi as they go through. Third place waiting for the Porsche. Where is that Porsche gone? Has it gone missing? It looks like we may have gone... Yeah, the Porsche's gone missing. Looks like there's been a bit of a problem there for the Bigfoot Express Freight Porsche of Mikhail Patamba. He's gone missing. McLaughlin's dropped back behind Saul Hack. And looks like Saul Hack now up in the third place overall. Team Perfect Circle are in the house and are up into the top three, literally onto the second lap of asking. So that's how we start things out there. They start their third lap, of course, now. But what a way to start. Keegan Masters in the Golf to start things out there, as we can see. He's got some work to do as he starts to make his way up through the field pretty rapidly. He's up to 13th place after 2 laps and onto the back end of Morne Jurgens and Willy Erasmus. That's the pull beam in full flight now with Yuri Swart behind the wheel. A very competitive little car there, owned by Francis Carruthers and piloted at the moment by the youngster from Cape Town there, Yuri Swart, the youngest of the 3 in that team. But we'll be seeing them going there. DiMatteo Racing at this point in time, we are sitting with them. Where are they sitting? Let's try and find them quickly. Lorenzo Gutteri, he's in the DiMatteo Racing car down in 15th place overall. Unfortunately, Franco DiMatteo's car had some issues and we've got a safety car. Safety car has been deployed down at turn 1. Potters pass, please. There you go. Thank you, Daryl. Safety car has been deployed. Not quite sure what the issue is. Out on circuit, we'll try and find that for you. But the Haval Jolion has been called into action. Safety car deployed down into turn 1. Going back to the question that was asked there, Franco DiMatteo's car unfortunately didn't make it down here. They had some issues that they picked up in Desi that they weren't able to sort out in time for this race meeting. So the Ligier from DiMatteo Racing unfortunately not here, but of course he has got some young drivers in Lorenzo Gutteri, Julian Familiaris, and I can't remember the third driver's name. David. David's in. Yeah, that's right. Dave Kutsia is in that DiMatteo Racing Cobra. Just going down the field as well, trying to pick up on Robin Creel. I don't think he's in her actual car. She's being helped out there. Duncan Dos Race is there in 20th place. Harm Pretorius in 19th. Zane Pierce is 18. Peter Jenkins in the Cooper. The John Cooper Works Mini Cooper from Bucketless Racing is also there. I don't think these guys have realized that there's a safety car because they're all trying to find a way through here. And overtaking under safety car is not permitted, which we see Rechodwitz giving that position back. These guys have not seen the safety car coming into the gate corner here. But Daryl, just give you a heads up. This pack of cars behind you have not seen the safety car board out just yet. They are flying into this corner. They're side by side. There should be no overtaking under safety car. And we are seeing overtaking. I think that now just realized that there's a safety car and they'll have to give positions back. Round the outside goes the Lotus. So it looks like we're going to see a little bit of a chop and change with the Lotus having to resume his position and give back positions that he did under the safety car scenario. I think the safety car board's probably a little bit difficult to spot when you're in a pack of cars like that, but certainly not the way you want to be starting things out here. Right, so safety car will remain out for another lap at least. Just trying to pick up if we've got where the action has taken place. I don't know if our camera crew have found if there's any issues that they can spot on camera to give us an indication as to what's gone wrong. I would assume it's the Patamba Porsche. The Bigfoot Express Freight Porsche, the green one. Did it go out? Okay, so that's gone out. So maybe that was the issue that caused the safety car. They were able to get it back in the pit lane. And they maybe just need some time to repair wherever it went off. Let's see if that's the case. But I would assume it was Mikhail Patamba or Brad Scorer in that car that had some issues. That's Mikhail that started the race. And he's dropped down to 24th place. So whatever the issue was on that Porsche is the reason we had the safety car, although I got over my shoulder that it did go back out on track. He's on the beach straight at the moment. And our guys are making their way down towards Rifle and Cocobana. There it is. That's the car we're talking about. And I'm not quite sure why he's going so slowly. He should be trying to make up ground now with the clear air he's got to get to the back of the field. He doesn't have to sit at safety car pace until he gets to the safety car. And the safety car looks like it might even catch and pass him the way he's going right now. With Michael Toner at the wheel of that car, there's a good possibility that Michael will have a go on Mikhail Patamba if he comes up onto that Porsche and put the Joe Leon at the front. Chris Pretorius, of course, sharing the Alpha, the ex-Arnold Chats car. Yes, of course, spot on there, Mr. Brand. Chris Pretorius at the wheel of that Alpha at the moment, but he's sharing it with Jaden Else, young competitor out of Polo Cup. And in fact, if I had a chance to, I wanted to mention that, and with the amount of people that are watching from our Volkswagen friends overseas and nationally here, there were, if I'm not mistaken, 6 or 7 drivers in the first 10 cars that have all either started in or participated in Volkswagen Polo Cup or Volkswagen GTI Super Cups at some point in their careers. So nice starting point there for this group to see such a big field of cars, and the top 10, 6 drivers all coming out of Polo Cup racing at some point in their careers, or the current Global Touring Car Super Cup category that Volkswagen supports. So Patamba's Porsche comes back into pit lane by the looks of it. Didn't work out whatever they had to sort out. The Joe Leon also comes back into pits, which means it's back to Arnie Neveling to go to green flag. And we should see that flag come out, and we are back in racing full time. In the Bigfoot Expressway Toys R Us, Haval, Edenvale, Buffalo City 700 here at East London Grand Prix Circuit. Rion Bortman just diving through into turn 1. We've eventually got our turn 1 Potters Pass camera back. Great job there from the up to 60-second crew to get it back up and running. There is the man from Haval, Edenvale. That's Roy Aubrey in his Porsche. With a bit of pressure coming from Richard Rutz by the looks of things as they go down towards Rifle. On the brakes is what happens down at Cocabana corner, and Rion Botma starting to pilot his Ligier through the field and up to the back end of the second sports car on track. GT car out front, 2 sports cars sitting in second and third place. It's a saloon car, Class B, in fourth with Saul Hack at the wheel. He's got a bit of pressure now from Mike McLaughlin in the backdraft Cobra. Nice little maneuver here. The 2 bucketless cars, almost formation flying from them. Watch out for the GTI of Keegan Masters now. Masters looking to try and find his way into the top 10 as quickly as he can. He's just outside that top 10 at the moment, looking for a way through on Philip Mayer. He's got through on Doug McDonald. Possibly coming up on Willie Erasmus and Mornay Jenkins. Ronald from the church is in the house as well. How are you doing, buddy? Thank you so much for the support and coming to join us here in East London Grand Prix Circuit for round 2 of the South African Endurance Series. Hack and McLaughlin go through Potters Pass. Team Perfect Circle, of course, partnering up this weekend with Bucketless Racing. Nice maneuver here from McLaughlin trying to find a way past Saul Hack as we watch Arnie Neveling opening up a big margin at the moment. It took him half a lap to get that 3.3 seconds. In the background though, watch out for that Golf GTI 8 of Keegan Masters, also starting to come through the field rapidly. According to what I've got here, Desiree Merkel from Volkswagen said that Keegan Masters is in the car. But on the timing monitor it says Daniel Rose in the car. So if I can ask Desiree maybe to just have a squiz at that for me and give me confirmation as to who's who. Or maybe just shoot up to the timing guys and let them know. Because Volkswagen Motorsport is telling me that Keegan Masters is in the Golf. And the timing monitor is telling me that Daniel Rowe is in the Golf. Down into Potters go the 2 sports cars. Full flight from the 2 of them. Looks like a bit of a change up here as we've also seen Zolile Leclerc and Chop Sapuka make their way through into 4th place. And drop Saul Hack down into 5 and Mark McLaughlin into 6th place as they go down into Potters. Very fast corner. Even faster right-hander just after that at Rifle. You can see them going into Rifle right now. Then it is the Haval Edenvale Porsche. Double yellows down into Cocabana again. I wonder if there's been another off at Cocabana. Could be Botma's car that's gone missing. Rion Botma's car did not come through shot there. I don't know if we can pick up in the complex. If we can, Daryl. But it looks like we've got a car off down at Cochabana. And could be a possibility that we may need another safety car scenario. We'll have a look and see whether... There it is. Oh, comes out of the bushes. And from the beach. So it was Botba that went off down at Cochabana corner. He's been able to get the car up and running and back on track, fortunately. He tucks in behind Doug McDonald, who's sharing that car with the two Finnemans from, or Finnerans from the UK. McDonald in the Shelby Can-Am. Dimitaro Racing. Oh, that was strong from Dimitaro Racing through there. Great bit of driving coming out of the Dimitaro Racing car there. Lorenzo Gualtieri just slamming it up the inside of Philip Mayer and finding a way through. Paul Monroe wanting that Dimitaro Cobra to take the win. They're working hard for it, Paulie. They're working hard for it, buddy. So it's Neveling out front, Yuri Swart second, Chopsapuka and Zolila Tlaka third. Hack in. Oh, and everybody's slowing up rapidly as the pace car is deployed. Safety car has been deployed. So, well, they missed out on the Haval Porsche as it went past. The Haval Julian has picked up on Doug McDonald in the Shelby. Hack and McLaughlin down the back straight away. Not quite sure why we've got a safety car, because the car that caused the problem got back on track, but needless to say, we've got the safety car out there just to make sure everything is a-okay. The Golf GTI of Keegan Masters is now moved up into 7th place behind the Porsche of Roy Aubrey. These guys should be making up ground. They should be making up ground. And I'm not quite sure why Keegan Masters has allowed those Cobras through. I think maybe because he missed the safety car. You can see Saul, Hack and McLaughlin are making up huge ground. They're making their way down through Potters at the moment and down towards Rifle. The lead car should be coming down towards Cochabana, and they'll be able to close up on the back end of this pack that have been picked up by the Haval Jolion. The one cool thing that they're going to see here is that if those lead cars do get picked up and come to the back of the field, it means that all of these cars behind Doug McDonald are going to lose out a huge advantage. Will be looking to try and capitalize on that advantage. So will the Porsche. What has happened with the GTI? The safety car for literally the entire time we've been down. So unfortunately a little bit of issues there that had to be sorted out, but of course all of that has now been sorted. A couple of cars with some issues in the brake though. It looks like we've lost the lead car at that point of time, which was Charles Orangis and Ari Neveling in the Strudale Motorsport Lamborghini. It had a problem with the gearbox, and it looks like they are possibly out for the rest of the day. Chopsapuka and Zolila Tlaka, the Lamborghini coming out of Cochabana at the moment. It's about 15th car in shot, is on the lead lap and leading at the moment, ahead of Yuri Swart in the pull beam, who's just 2 cars behind them. We got the Porsche of Roy Aubrey from Haval Edenvale tucked in between them. So a little bit of a lull in the proceedings due to the lull in the power around the circuit. We're just waiting to bring Facebook up as well, and once we've got everybody back up, we can also just reiterate that to all of our fans on Facebook as well as we start the second part of this proceeding. Unfortunately, there has been a little bit of a break, but you haven't missed any of the action, because the action has not really been happening because we've been under safety car for the last 10 minutes or so. Big welcome back to all of our Facebook viewers as well. Thank you so much for your patience, guys. Unfortunately, we had a couple of issues here at the circuit and everybody live at the circuit as well. Big welcome back to everybody. Unfortunately, the load shedding caught us out there, so municipal power going down around the circuit. It wasn't track related or anything to do with up to 60 seconds. It was actually a municipal load shedding that came through and dropped the entire area here at the East London Grand Prix circuit out of power. But we are back up and running, and if you have just joined us again, big welcome back as we get into part 2 now of our coverage here of the South African Endurance Series Round 2. It's the Bigfoot Express Freight Toys R Us and Haval Buffalo City 700. Alright, so we are back up and running. I can see it on Facebook as well, so apologies to everybody that had to wait in the sidelines. Everybody around the world as well watching on the various platforms, apologies for that. Nothing we can do about municipal power going down, but we are back up and running now with the Haval Jolion out front, leading out Saul Hack, and of course Saul Hack at the moment 3rd place overall on track, but leading car on the circuit. The car we're looking for, of course, is Zolile Letlaka's Lamborghini, and if we pick up on that car, we'll actually tell you that that's actually the leading car at the moment, ahead of Yuri Swart in the pull beam. If we just hold that shot, Daryl, we actually get to see them coming through. They're about 4 or 5 cars back now as they come through into the complex. There is the Rion Portma Ligia. There is the lead car, that Lamborghini. And then, of course, the pull beam just behind that. That's the sort of burnt orange and white Ravenol-sponsored pull beam of Yuri Swart is 2nd on track. 3rd place is Saul Hack. He's right behind the safety car. Jonathan Thomas has moved up to 4th place overall, ahead of Rechard Rutz. Rion Botma is in 6th place, Mike McLaughlin in 7th, Morne Jurgens is down in 8th, ahead of Lorenzo Guatteri in the Demeter Racing Cobra. Philip May in the People Group Machine, and Gerald Wright Motorsport. He is in 10th place, ahead of Chris Pretorius in his incredible little Alpha. Looking forward to seeing the progress of him and Jaden Else in that Alpha through the day. Peter Jenkins, their teammate, also out of Bucketless Racing, is there in the Mini Cooper in 12th, ahead of Arm Pretorius Donketless Race. The Porsche of Roy Obrich down to 15th. Robin Creel is in 16th, ahead of Brandon Dean. Flashman Finneran is out there at the moment. He, of course, is in the pink and yellow Shelby. And if we just hold for that pink and yellow Shelby, Daryl, who's behind the Porsche, just in the background there. Interesting note for that man that's coming through. It's the Shelby Can-Am of Doug McDonald that he's piloting along with his dad. But Flashman Finneran is an autistic racing driver as well. So suffering with a bit of autism doesn't stop him from doing what he loves the most. And there he is right there in car 29, and to watch out for, and keep an eye on him as he goes through. We have had a couple of retirements, as I mentioned. Unfortunately, we've lost the championship leader. And that is a big, big loss at the front end here for the Stradale Motorsport team with a gearbox issue on the Lamborghini. It has done 2 hour endurance, well, an hour endurance and a half-hour endurance race earlier in the day with Charles Orange is at the wheel. Looks like a little pit stop schedule there for the Demeter Racing cars, as well as for the pull beam, going in and using the safety car to their advantage, getting a little pit stop and maybe a little splash and dash in there quickly as well. Fortunately, not going to lose too much ground now as we're still under safety car scenario. If I look at the reasoning for that safety car scenario, trying to work out as to which car was involved. I know initially we had a problem with the Porsche of Mikel Patamba. He had a problem on circuit, and I'm not quite sure if he went off, but they came back in, tried to sort it out, then he had to come back in again for a second time while under safety car here. So whether or not that car has been sorted, we'll have to wait and see. Just going to run down further in the timing monitor as well. That's the leader. That is Zolile Letlaka sharing the car with Chop Sapuka, 2 of the Eastern Cape's finest racing drivers of colour. Looking down the field as well, Mikel Patamba and Zaim Gulam is the other one who had a problem. So it might be the second of the Ligiers that had some issues on track. Gary and Maria also dropping by the wayside, so not quite sure if that's all the problems. Still under safety car again. Another lap under safety car. This is almost 20 minutes under safety car here. It's been a long period of safety car. Probably have right now as the frustration levels start to pick up in the cars. Got to keep an eye out for, of course, the heat levels in the engines and the machinery. Don't want cars to be overheating. That's why you see cars pulling up, not sitting right behind each other. Just in case of emergencies or issues. Also looking at the way things are going down the main straight there in the background. Zolile taking it very easy at the moment in the Lamborghini. I also don't see the Golf GTI of Keegan Masters and Daniel Rowe on track either. So just waiting to see whether or not going around and into Rifle and Potter's Pass, still under safety car scenario here. Round 2 of the South African Endurance Series Championship. Bigfoot Express Freight, Toys R Us. Cars continuing to circulate under safety car scenario here. There we can see it. Lorenzo Gutteri sharing the car, of course, from Limitara Racing with Julian Familiaris. Franco Limitara, of course, the man who preps that car. Expecting his boys to do another good job, same as what they did down at Desi's Raceway for round 1 of this championship on the south coast of South Africa. So Lila Tlaka, Chop Sapuka, Saul Hack, Jonathan Thomas, Rechard Ritz. It's Rian Botma, Mike McLaughlin, Yuri Swart, Morne Jurgens, Philip Meyer, and Chris Pretorius that make up the top 10. There is Pretorius in the Alpha. Going through Potter's Pass, just behind him, of course, is Peter Jenkins, that's the Mini Cooper. John Cooper Works S. From Bucket List Racing that Jenkins is behind the wheel of. It's the car that had the big crash. In fact, it's not the car, it's the replacement car, of course, for the car that had the big crash at Desi's Raceway only about a month ago. Paul Beam, Yuri Swart at the back. He came in for a little check-up on the car as we were in a safety car, so it has dropped him down the field slightly. Down in 7th place overall now after that little pit stop. But as you can see, still lights on that safety car. Saul Hack getting the Polo side by side, trying to warm those Dunlop tyres up on that machine. The P7 in the background is not part of the endurance field. It's of course our course car, helping us get recoveries done as quickly as possible. Must have been a pretty big recovery, and I think it was down at Rifle Corner the recovery had to be made. We'll probably get a shot of that recovery vehicle bringing the perpetrator of this long period of safety car into sight pretty shortly. And Darryl will keep an eye on that one to see whether or not we get the safety car, and of course the course car is just behind all of the race cars at the moment, but there is a flatbed out there courtesy of East London Towing and Recovery, and there it is. It's a big Cobra. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that might be Gary Murray's Cobra. That is on the back of our East London Towing and Recovery. So we've got the Porsche of Mikhail Patamba still in pit lane trying to get sorted out. We've lost Charles Oranges and Ari Neveling. Our championship leaders are out with a broken gearbox. still under safety car until we can recover that vehicle back into the pit lane. So possibly is still another lap of safety car before we get the green flag, depending on how quickly that truck can be brought back to a safe point and out of harm's way. The 11 car by the looks of things of Michael Radloff, so it's the flat out racing car of Michael Radloff who has caused the issue with the big long wait in proceedings. Pity there for them, they worked so hard. Remember, they were the top car out there. Safety car James David Fenter is due to what you can see on screen right now. We had a big incident with that Cobra down through Rifle, and it took a while to get it recovered and the driver back into a safe position. As soon as we've got information on the driver, we'll let you know, but I think that's the reason for it. Golf GTI makes its way out of pit lane just below my commentary booth. And looks like that car is back on track now, but we'll be right at the back of the field and a couple of laps down on the lead cars. Looks like it's lost about 15 to 18 laps or so. Neveling out. Clinton Rebello also having some problems there in the Lotus. He's dropped down 18 laps. Zane Pierce also out in car 2. Gary Murray out. And as I said, Michael Radloff now 13 laps down. He'll be out too. Flashman Finneran is back on track, but he's about 5 laps down there. And he's the man from the UK. Autistic driver. Young man. Getting a chance to do what he loves the most. Race motorcars. With his dad and Doug McDonald. Good effort there from them. The cars seem to be getting a little bit more pace and a little bit more body language changed in terms of the cars as well as the drivers. Is there a possibility we got lights out on the Aval Jolion? We'll get confirmation of that as we go to the top of the hill into Beacon. Yes, I think we have. Are we going racing? See whether or not Saul Hack is the first car to come across the line. Yeah, Jolion pulls into pit lane, and Hack will now lead the field down into turn 1, Potter's Pass for Team Perfect Circle and Bucketless Racing. Trying to get a bit of heat into the rubber as he starts things out. He knows he's in third place. It's a long way back. In fact, he's moved up to second right now. Saul Hack up into second place now. Teammate Andre Mercedes will be loving the fact that that little Bucketless Racing Team Perfect Circle Polo Super Cup GTI is in second place overall, but leads the field down into the restart of race proceedings. We're flying down into Cocobana Corner. See a couple of the quicker cars coming through on the slower ones as they come into the mix once again. Now watch for that progress of the pull beam as it comes through into Rifle. So we've lost a couple of cars right from the word go, and unfortunately, as I said, in the break with our power going down, we were under safety car. We've just gone back to full race conditions again. So Lila Tlaka trying to make up some ground now as he goes through on some of the Cobras in that mid-pack. Saul Hack using the grass and a little bit more of the edging than what was required, I suppose. It still continues through there. This, of course, is the Luso Cafe and South Coast-based team there. Rafa Ritz behind the wheel of that Cobra right now, followed by the Mini from Bucketless Racing. Peter Jenkins at the wheel of the Mini at the moment, but he'll be handing across to Rob Clark a little bit later on in the proceedings today. And the big pack of Cobras make their way up to the top of the hill. Hack completes another lap. He's still out front and leading things, but watch out for Tlaka as he starts to close things down. So Lila going to use the advantage now of the safety car to take a lap onto the lead car on track. That's the lead car on track, Saul Hack, but he's second overall in the standings. About to be caught by the leader. Rion Botma into third place could potentially change things up there. So it's Tlaka from Yuri Swart, in fact, in second. They seem to have sorted things out there. Brian Martin at the wheel of the Cobra seems to have moved up into 4th place. I'm not quite sure what happened with the timing there, but something went wrong. And now the timing system has reshuffled itself, so hopefully it'll get it all sorted out. Into gate corner. Lead car is Letlaka. 2nd place is Saul Hack. Waiting for the 3rd place car now come through. Should be Rian Botma, there it is. Rian Botma there as well, and then looking for the pull beam a bit further back. That's your top 4. There it is. Yuri Swart. Awesome job there from him. And here comes Flashman Finneran. There he is. Looking for a way through there on Peter Jenkins. Jenkins in the Mini Cooper. Shelby Canham will probably have the legs on that Cooper up the straight. Certainly power to weight ratio on that car will be a lot better. Looks like an hour with a lap on everybody in the field. He is sharing the car with Chop Sapuka. We've got a minute and some change before we get into the 3-hour to go bracket. So interesting to see how the first hour has gone. Majority of the first hour has been under safety car. There's a move from Rian Botma to get through, possibly take that 3rd place away from Saul Hack. Yep, there it is. Diving through and moves up into 3rd place. Saul Hack down to 4th. Spends most of his time, of course, in Porsches, does Saul Hack, along with Andre Besaidnout. Team Perfect Circle on the side of that car, of course, is the livery that they ran at the Kyle Army 9-hour. Finishing 1st in their class last year. Definitely a resurgence of a very famous team that was piloted in the original 9 hours. Besaidnout and Hack at the wheel. They've joined Bucket List Racing, of course, who prepped that Mini of Peter Jenkins and Rob Clark. They also prepped the Alpha, currently being piloted by Chris Pretorius, but he'll be sharing the day with Jaden Else. Looking in the background as well, the pull beam across the line. He's looking to come and get some give his own medicine back there. But Yuri Swart's got a lot of work to do to try and make up some ground. He lost as he was in pit lane on a few occasions. You want to try and get back up to the lead car of Chop Sapuka and Zolile Letlaka. Letlaka at the wheel of that lead car, the Lamborghini. And Swart now at the wheel of the pull beam, trying to bridge that gap. Try and get an opportunity to retake the position of the lead of this race, because he did lead things out after we saw the demise of Charles Oranges and Arnie Neveling. Down into gate corner comes the car we're talking about right now, Ravenel sponsored machine there. It's the pull beam with a 3.5 litre Nissan engine in it, owned by Francis Carruthers. And also going to be joined by Greg Walker this weekend as the 3-man team in that class. Two hours and 58 minutes to go. Let's have a look and see how things stand. We've got a Cobra slowing down a Cocabana in the background. There is your top 10. Letlaka leading things out over Yuri Swart. He's got a lap over Yuri Swart. And you've got Rian Botma, Saul Hack, and of course Mike McLaughlin, then Jonathan Thomas ahead of Richard Rutz. Mono Jenkins is 2nd in class there. In fact, 3rd in class behind Jonathan Thomas. Philip Mayer behind that 4th in class. Class B 2nd is Chris Pretorius. Class A in the Mini is Peter Jenkins. Lorenzo Gottieri ahead of Han Pretorius and Robin Creel. Brandon Dean and Duncan Dos Reis. And then leading Class T is the Haval Edenvale Porsche of Roy O'Brien. Behind him comes Flashman Finneran. He's in 18th ahead of Michael Radloff, and the top 20 is made up by the Golf GTI, the Global Touring Car Golf GTI 8 of Daniel Rowe. Unfortunately, Arnie Neveling out of this. So we've got 20 cars still competing here competitively. The guys that are further down, if you have got timing monitors, from 21st to 27th at this point in time are out of the 2nd round of this championship. Zolil Letlaka now just opening up a commanding lead over Yuri Swart, controlling things from that lead. So the fight there between some Cobras in the mini. Letlaka's onto the beach straight, coming into some traffic. Might give Botma a chance to sort of close that gap down on him if he can. Pesty Racing coming flying through there as well. So Han Pretorius at the wheel of that car at the moment. There goes Mike McLaughlin across the line. Aubrey in the Porsche. Cobras into turn number 1, Potters. Move from Flashman Finneran going into Potters past the dive on the inside there, Philip Mayer. Here comes the Demeter Racing Cobra. The Cooper, Jenkins. Robin Creel right on this tail. It's not the original car that Creel was supposed to be driving in, of course. Her two teammates, her husband, Stian, and of course Kusi Veyers. They had problems with their car yesterday. The engine blew in their Cobra, so unfortunately they had to go and try and make a plan with other teams to at least get a drive on the weekend and reshuffle some team lists there, which is great from the teams that supported them. Big dice on here. This is a great dice actually. Picking up on the 61 car there. And a little bit of a fight on between Jonathan Thomas, Richard Rutz, and of course in there as well Morne Jurgens. Jurgens has actually taken the lead of that little battle and moved up ahead of John Thomas and Richard Rutz. We're watching Rian Botman's Ligier down the beach straight. Background is the pull beam of Yuri Swart. Swart could be looking to take up another lap away here from Rian Botman if he catches and passes him. And then just behind him it's Saul Hack in the T-Perfect Circle and the Bucketless Racing car. Polo Super Cup GTI. And a magnificent job, and of course once again, just a reminder to everybody last year, that Polo Super Cup GTI, not that particular one, but the one from Team Perfect Circle on a Mercedes Notes car, finished second overall in this race, and also finished up first in Index. Index of performance, of course, is the percentage that the two drivers can work together with to stay within a certain percentage of the fastest lap that each of them are able to provide. Problems for Flashman Finneran, pulling to the sideline there, slowing up on the beach straight. Shelby's got a problem. Shelby Canham slowing up dramatically as we watch the Cobras come through. Once again, a change up in that Cobra little battle. Jonathan Thomas now behind Richard Rutz. Morne Jurgens behind them. So those three having a great battle. But there you go, confirmation of what I saw. Finneran with some problems. Flashman not going as fast as what he'd like at this point, I can tell you. Just nursing that Shelby round to try and get it back in the pit lane. There he comes. Definition, but oh, have a look at that just in the background. Big maneuver there from Rian Botman to try and get through on one of the Cobras. Back to the Cobra fight. It's a big fight there for the lead of the race in terms of Class E. Richard Rutz currently leading with Jonathan Thomas all over the back of him, and then Morne Jurgens in third. Mike McLaughlin doing a super job there as well in 5th place overall, leading GT5 SA. As we watch down into Potters, there's confirmation of a change up in position. Yeah, the pull beam of Yuri Swart has taken a lap now over Rian Botma, who's right behind him. Botma and Hack down one lap on Yuri Swart in the pull beam. And through Potters, down onto the beach straight. Pesty Racing's Han Pretorius trying to close down on the back end of Peter Jenkins. Bucket List Racing Container Force Mini ahead of the Pesty Racing Cobra. Julie Swart looking for a way through there on that Cobra. Mortimer running with him. Down the beach straight, slowing Cobra on the beach straight as well. Who's there for this black Cobra coming through there? I think that possibly maybe Brendan Dean. Looking at the way things are going, yeah, Brendan Dean. Or maybe Robin Krill. It actually might be Robin Krill, I beg your pardon. It's actually probably Robin Krill. So she might have picked up a problem on that car as they come into the complex. Aubrey moves out of the way, realises the Cobras are coming, doesn't want to get involved in that little battle. It's Laka continuing to circulate. And at the lead of this race now by 39 odd seconds on Yuri Swart. Racing Cobra into gate corner. Familiara still at the wheel of that car, circulating well, doing a superb job. It's actually not Familiaris at the wheel, I beg your pardon, it's still Lorenzo Gatteri. We'll be handing across to Julian Familiaris and David Katsia during the race day, that's for sure. Coming through on Cobras, one of them being Mark McLaughlin in the GT5 SA Cobra, slightly more powerful with a big wing. Aubrey into pit lane. Looks like just ahead there as well, a scheduled stop for one of the Cobras. 61 was that one, that was Jonathan Thomas's car. Jonathan Thomas's car having to be pulled back into the pit box. Looks like there's a problem there on Jonathan Thomas's car. That was the second place car in Class E. Second place in Class E. Aubrey pulls in the pit lane as well. So with a few issues to sort out on the GT3 Cup car.
Pit stop, unusual pit stop.
Bortner goes past Lorenzo Gatteri. Bortner still circulating nicely. Auto Investments Ligier there. They'll be sharing that car with Hein Larticon and with Wojciech Piro. Pesty Racing with a driver change as well. 262 car. Han Pretorius was at the wheel. We're heading over now to his teammate. Into pit lane, another stop there. Morne Jurgens coming into pit lane. Is that a scheduled stop? No, it's not. Jurgens came in and just literally went straight back out again. Not quite sure what the issue on that car was or why he had to come straight in and out. I don't know if it was a bit of drive-through or whatever, but he came into the pit box and then literally wanted to stop and they sent him straight back out again. Maybe they weren't ready for him. Flashman Finneran back on track as well. We just saw the Shelby Can-Am go through the shot of the camera in pit lane. Pesty Racing back on track as well. Bortner goes past on Pretorius. Chris Pretorius has made his way up into 8th place overall in the Alpha. Giulietta has had a fantastic day so far for Bucket List Racing. Fast Freddy from Fast Developments, of course, does the preparation on that car as well as on the other two cars of part of the Bucket List Racing team this weekend. One being the Mini Cooper, Peter Jenkins and Rob Clark. The other one, of course, is the Team Perfect Circle Super Cup Polo, course car and safety car. Right, so where have we missed action out on track? Once again, possibly down at Rifle. That's where I'd go first to see if we can pick up on that, Daryl, if we can spot it. We've got Yuri Swart about to be picked up. I think the reverse angle, if we can, at camera 1 might give us a chance. The full pan shot might give us a shot of what's gone down there. I don't know if we can, if it is down there or not. Rian Bortma comes out of pit lane. That might be the reason for an issue. Camera 1 just on the left hand side of his shot might see it as he pans across to Rifle. So you can pick up on it. Course car's gone past Rifle, so it's not going to be at Rifle. He's heading into the complex. As the Cooper goes down there. No, it's not down there at Rifle. That's the shot though, yeah, thank you. Safety car deployed again. Zolile Flaka now in, and I wonder if there was a possible driver change. I don't know if Gary's down there. We can get hold of Gary to find out if there was a driver change there. Morne Jurgens' car is in for a scheduled stop. And a driver change as well. Jurgens is out the car. Let's see who they put into that car now. So it's under safety car. We sit into the complex. So look and see if we can pick it up here. Where the issue is.
So we're waiting up here. This is P3 is going to be coming in. That's real Ultima. They're going to be doing a driver change. And the
This car's going past the complex as well, so maybe it's up at Beacon or on the right hand side of the back straight up to Beacon by the new hotel complex that's being built. Good possibility that's where it is.
But as you said, that it's car number 4 in the background. That's a car with Claire Bailey in the middle.
Getting confirmation from down in pit lane as well from Gary van der Spey, our pit lane consultant. The Bigfoot Express Freight Porsche of Mikel Batamba unfortunately is out as well. That's a big pity to lose him. He's had such a good day though.
Okay, fine. Yeah, we can see Hein walking past in front of us. As I say that, I see it. Well, there's a course car coming in, and he's right behind the course car. Okay, yeah, here he comes.
Looks like Bortma coming into pit lane as well. We'll go back to action out on track.
Driver change, fuel, and tire.
Just following behind the safety car from Haval Edenvale. It's the brand new Haval Jolion 1500cc turbocharged car. Rian Bortma climbing out the car. He's done the first bit of duties there in the Ligier.
And they're going for a driver change as well.
If I'm correct.
Standing here watching behind, Booker will climb out.
Okay, so it was on the exit to Beacon where the incident took place. And the reason why we're under safety car at the moment. The Lamborghini's back in pit lane. That's a concern for me. Is that the reason for it? I think the Lamborghini might have been the spinner, not the Lambo. The Lamborghini's back in pit lane for the second time under safety car. With 2.5 hours or 2 hours and 43 minutes and some change to go. That car's come in twice now in the last lap and a half. So I wonder if there's an issue that was picked up after that big crash that Chop Sapuka had in the South African GT Racing Association Race 1. The number 6 Cobra is Robin Creel. I thought it was Robin Creel actually. I picked up on that earlier on. I thought it might have been Robin Creel in the 6 Cobra there that unfortunately had some issues. Looks like there's issues here for Stradale Motorsport again. Chatting to the driver, that's Chop Sapuka on the outside.
Got a bit of an issue there.
And he's been asked to step aside. Maybe Zolile going to get back in. Let's maybe Gary can find out for us down there.
See if we can catch all the shots.
Don't know if Gary's down there or not, but maybe we can get an interview and find out what's happening there from Stradale Motorsport's point of view.
Car going right, you guys happy with the pace you got?
Yeah, we're fine. It's not a problem at all. I think it is a car, it's just difficult to...
But now you're putting Kalila back in the car. How many more stunts will you do?
Well, I've got one more left.
Thanks for that, Gary. Yeah, just a quick update there from Chop Sapuka on how things have gone. Zolile back in the car now. So Zolile Latlaka out on track in the Lamborghini. A little break up here on our camera 640, just to give you a heads up as well. As we go back down into Cochabana corner.
Can we get chat with Roy, who's just won the 1 hour? So let them know.
Should be less than a lap now to go in a safety car. I think we've cleared most of the issues. We're on circuit and we're racing. Exactly what I thought. Down towards turn 1 goes the pull beam. That car, of course, now in second place and will be making up the ground that he lost with the Lamborghini having to go into pit lane. Golf GTI 8 coming through the field rapidly as well as we follow some Cobras on the inside of Flashman Finneran.
In this beautiful Oval Edenvale Porsche.
And look at down at the bottom, looks like we picked up on the winner of the 1 hour as well from Haval Edenvale, Roy Aubrey.
Roy, you've just finished the 1 hour, won your race and that sort of thing. Give us some impressions what it was like and how you're feeling.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic, you know. I'm not a big guy sharing my car, so to me the 1 hour works. I've had an awesome day. I mean, I had qualifying for the sprint races this morning. I had 2 sprint races in their local series where there was like really good dices. There were, you know, a couple of cars with the same speed as me, so fantastic racing. And then we got into the 1 hour, and it's really great fun, because there's such a mix of cars and all that kind of stuff. So you're always busy. There's always somebody sort of your pace or something, or there's somebody ahead of you trying to get past and all that kind of stuff. So like an awesome day. I really, really had a good day. Yeah.
Well, Roy, on behalf of the fans and everybody out there and South African viewers, I'm going to thank you for the support you give us and for being such a sport and entertainment to you guys.
It's a pleasure, guys. Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks, guys. Back to you in the studio.
I think Roy Aubrey was having so much fun out there, he decided to stay for a little bit longer than 1 hour. He did the 1 hour and 20-minute race today. He got 20 minutes extra. Although he has participated in both of the sprint races today as well, as part of the modified saloon cars from Border Motorsport Club. So he's got a fair amount of track time here at East London Grand Prix Circuit. And considering the fact that we come back here later in the year, that's not a bad plan. But congratulations to the man from Haval Edenvale, and a massive thanks to him and his team as well for the supply of vehicles for us to do what we do here today. Haval Jolion from Haval Edenvale and the P7 course car from GWM Edenvale as well. Great effort there from Roy Aubrey and his team, and we do appreciate all that kind of support. Big support coming out of Bigfoot Express Freight as well as Toys R Us, and unfortunately the Toys R Us Porsche of Mo Mia and his team not able to make it out after a big crash yesterday in qualifying, destroying the back left hand side of that car. So some problems there for them. They'll get it sorted out. Speaking of problems, as we head into Beacon Corner, just for Daryl's edification, we've got a Golf GTI 8 Global Touring Car about to catch and pass a Global Touring Car Super Cup Polo. So it could be a little bit of a change up in terms of the lead car in the Volkswagen brands, but Solhack still remains in third place. And remember, Keegan Masters and Daniel Rowe have got to make up 29 laps. So in order to beat the Super Cup Polo of Andre Besaidnout and Saul Hack at the wheel of that car at the moment, they're going to have to catch and pass them another 28 times. And they still haven't caught them just yet as they head towards Potter's Pass. Remember, that Global Touring car is literally built for sprint racing. It's not really a endurance type car, but they have done some modifications to it. There's a 100-litre tank in that car. They put some vents in it so that the drivers don't get too heated in the cockpit. And if anybody can make a car work, Nathan's Motorsport, Steve Green from Rob Green Motorsport, and Volkswagen Motorsport all combined, certainly looking to provide a car for Daniel and Keegan to participate in. Gary's down in pit lane though, he's got a bit of action. Let's go down to Gary.
Rian, you were sitting comfortably in third position there. I saw you had 1 or 2 drives through. I don't know what you did naughty on the track, but the car's now coming in, they push it backwards in the pits. What's the problem?
It seems like a voltage problem. I had no problems when I was out there. The lights was on. I don't know if it maybe drained the battery. We'll check now.
Well, we wish you all the best, and let's hope we can get the car back out again. I'm sure you want to watch these guys work, so I'll leave you in peace.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Right,
thanks,
guys,
Gary. There you are,
studio,
picking up from the Auto Investments guys. Great effort there from Rian Portma, but not quite sure what the issue was there, 40. Maybe you can just give me a heads up as to what went down there with that interview. electrical problem on the Ligier, so they're going to try and get that sorted and probably get them back on track if they can. It is going to lose them some ground. It already has. They've dropped out of the top 10 into 11th place there behind Chris Pretorius. So Zolile Letlaka continues to lead this one with 2 hours and 36 minutes and a little bit of change still to go. 21 car still circulating as well of Manfred Schroeder, new man to the series, and of course a new car to the series there too from Backdraft Racing. Nice little fight out there as well, as all of a sudden we've got Lorenzo Guertieri onto the back end. Is that of Rechard Ritz? I think it may have been Rechard Ritz, or Rechard Ritz just taking a lap back there. Only chopping and changing from the action that's all around the track. It's not always easy to keep up with that action. We are seeing some Volkswagens coming into gate corner, and yes, at this point in time, should have been a couple of laps back that we saw Daniel Rowe get through on Solhack. Maybe not looking to do any more damage to that car. They want to try and nurse it home, use the time. It's actually Keegan Masters at the wheel at the moment, beg your pardon. So Keegan Masters at this point in time is piloting that Global Touring Car GTI 8 on the tailpiece of Solhack in the Global Touring Car Super Cup Polo GTI. Teammate there, that's still Jenkins at the wheel. He's loving life. I actually had a chat with him yesterday, having had a chance to drive my Mini Cooper around the circuit on numerous occasions in production cars and 111 Sports and Saloons, and in the modified saloons here from Border Motorsport Club, and just said how much fun a Mini Cooper is around this track, and he had to agree. Loving life in that bucketless racing and container force car. So heading down towards Cocobana Corner. Looks like Clinton Rebello's back on track. Looks like the team down at the Lotus pit have sorted things out there. Barney doing double time to get that car back on track. So a good effort there from him. And is it Clinton or is it possibly Anton now at the wheel of that car? But it isn't going as well as what they hoped. Nice big flame out of Mike McLaughlin's Cobra down the beach straight. Big welcome to Haley Ferree, and Mark Van Willensdorf is in the house. Troy Cochran's been here all the time, so appreciate the continued support there. But there on the left-hand side is the top 10 standings at the moment. Oh, Solhack having to go inside and on the curb to avoid the Lotus. Running those tyres right up on the curb. Don't want to do that too often. Actually put the wheel right up on the dirt and try to find a way through. Lotus could have given him a little bit of extra room to play. In fact, he locked up on the back end of the Lotus as they came in there, so very lucky to avoid. Here's a battle of note. Rechard Ritz all over the back end now of the People Group car, prepped by Gerald Wright Motorsport, and at the wheel of that one is the man, of course, from People Group. That is Philip Meyer in the top 6 overall. Is there a GTI versus GTI battle? Yes. It's Golf versus Polo, and the Golf wins out into Potters. So everybody watching on the Volkswagen Motorsport page will be happy with that. Seeing the two branded Volkswagen cars. Formation flying around here. It's kind of how they should run. But we do know that the Golf GTI team have had some issues and some little niggles to sort out. They haven't been racing for almost a year and a half, so a little bit of rust and dust maybe on those cars that they've had to try and get off. Hack trying to come back at Keegan and keeping him honest. Oh, he's keeping him honest big time. Lights ablaze, in fact, as they went in there. So the Team Perfect Circle Super Cup Polo GTI all over the back of that Golf GTI 8 of Keegan Masters, looking for a way through. Oh, and he's forcing him into mistakes. This is great action here. I'm sure that the Volkswagen guys are enjoying this. I don't have too much of that. They're only rubbing and crashing, but always nice to see a good battle. There's a nice battle that just started there between Philip Meyer, and it might resume, because if you watch that shot right now, Letlaka coming up on the back end of Philip Meyer might just pull him along, and D'Amato at the same time, or the D'Amato racing car of Lorenzo Guertieri, to go into a three-way battle again with Rechard Ritz. Keep an eye out, Chris Pretorius on the inside of one of the Cobras trying to get through there. Coming along in the background is his teammate. So there are the two bucketless racing saloon cars. It's the Alfa Romeo Giulietta. He's going at it there. I think that's Brandon Dean. Yeah, that's Brandon Dean. And the 16 car, I just want to get confirmation of that. It is Dean at the wheel of that car at the moment. I would assume so from the helmet design. Yes, it is. Brandon Dean, with Jenkins all over the back of him now. Vincent Rebello is back on track in the Lotus as we saw, but he's circulating a lot slower than what he has been in the past, and he's got almost, what are we looking at? 40 odd laps to make up there, does Rebello, in the next 2.5 hours and some change. Here's one to watch out for, Daryl. We can see the pull beam starting to close on the Lambo. The battle for first place is about to heat up in this race. We want to keep an eye on that one for a couple of laps. Just watch for the progress of the pull beam onto the Lamborghini. The Tlaka there going into gate corner, pull beam coming out of Cochabana. That's first and second on the road overall. Pull beam will get through on the Cobra coming into gate corner. And we'll make that stick now close onto the back end of Philip Meyer. Philip Meyer, just up the road from him, will be Rechard Roots. And then once he's passed on Roots, he will have in his sights Zolile Letlaka in the Stradale Motorsport and Into Africa Mining Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo. Comment coming through on one of our Facebook feeds there from Mark van Willensdorf. Thank you for that, Mark van Willensdorf. Asking how the V8 teams are doing. Apologies for not picking up on that earlier on, but the V8 teams are doing quite well. Mobil 1 V8 teams at this point in time, it's Lorenzo Gautieri, David Katsia, and Julian Familiaris in the Dimitar Racing Cobra, and they are currently sitting in 6th place overall behind Rechard Roots. This is not a battle for position, it's just a battle for pride here, I think, between Hack and Keegan Masters. GTI 8 Golf versus Super Cup Polo GTI. My Queen's in the house as well. Good afternoon, my baby. Hope you've enjoyed all the action so far. We've had a bit of action, but we've had a lot of safety car. Almost 25 minutes of safety car in the first hour. Now things are starting to settle down. Roots pulling away. He continues to lead out Class E. And maybe I can ask Paul if he doesn't mind just to give me the top 10 again, just to run through that top 10 for you guys on the screen, so you can see exactly how it stands, and we can maybe get into the classes for you as well a little bit, as the things, as I said, have started to settle down ever so slightly here. Oh, and the Hack is back again. Saul Hack up ahead of Keegan Masters. Keegan Masters must have made a mistake somewhere on track, and Saul Hack has resumed his position as the leading Volkswagen, not only on the track, but of course in the battle there too. Right, let's have a look at the results there. Right now in GD3 and overall, it's Zolile Letlaka and Chop Sapuka in the Lamborghini Huracan out of Stradale Motorsport, and you can see him just in the background of the shot there as we are superimposing the standings over that. Second place, Yuri Swart in the pull beam. You'll probably pick him up as they get down into the beach straight if we can. He's of course partnering up with Francis Carruthers and Greg Walker. Saul Hack in third place for Team Perfect Circle and Bucketless Racing. He's partnered up with Andre Besaidnote, who'll be itching to get in the car as well. Mark McLaughlin for Backdraft Racing is there in 4th and leading Class GT5. So the first 4 cars on track are all leaders of their respective classes as well. That's Class GD3, T, B and GD5 respectively. Class E's leader is Rechard Roots. He currently ahead of Lorenzo Gautieri, and down in 8th place, Brandon Dean in 3rd place for Class E. Chris Pretorius is 2nd in Class B. He, of course, is in the Alfa Romeo Giulietta for Bucketless Racing. He's in 7th place on the track overall. Peter Jenkins, his teammate, leads Class A, and he's in 9th place overall, with Dean Wilson now at the wheel of the People Group car in 10th, and that will be 4th place overall in Class E. So that's how the standings are at the moment for the top 10 and each of the classes in this category as well. Hope you enjoyed that one. And there's a little summary of how things stand at this point. That is Dean Wilson, the man I just mentioned, down in 10th place overall for the People Group and Gerald Wright Motorsport Cobra. They've had a phenomenal couple of weeks in racing. Philip Meyer in his Porsche last weekend actually finished 2nd overall in the Pekisa 200 at the Extreme Festival at Pekisa Freeway in Welkom. Oh, Willie Adams in the house, thank you so much. Good to see you guys enjoying all the action so far. And little chats between our viewers as well on the comment lists going out there as well. Good to see that. That's what it's all about. It's interactive commentary we bring you here. So if you have got anything that you would like to know or find out about, we are trying to keep our sites on all of the pages. So if anybody does put things out and it hasn't come or haven't answered it just yet, and I haven't seen it on either ILEB or Up to 60 Seconds or even the South African Endurance Racing page, just send it through to me on my Voice of Choice page as well, and I'll try and pick up on that. We've got Paul Bedford in the background watching for that as well, and Gary van der Spey looking at the ILEB page. So if anything does come up there, of course, will notify me if there are any questions or queries or pertinent comments that are going out there. Just a reminder to everybody, we have lost Michael Radloff, Chris Radloff, and Team Flat Out. And unfortunately had to retire their car after a big incident coming out of Rifle, where the leading Lambo heads towards at the moment, 10.5 seconds up the road from the pull beam of Yuri Swart. We've also lost Arnie Neveling and Charles Orangi's championship leaders, unfortunately with a broken gearbox. Zane Pierce was out early as well, and Gary Murray also with some problems, and of course Mikael Patamba in the Porsche, the Bigfoot Express Freight Porsche, out of proceedings here in the 4 hour. 4 hours of racing. We got 2.5 or 2 hours and 25 minutes to go. And we are here at East London Grand Prix circuit, courtesy of Bigfoot Express Freight, Toys R Us, and Haval Edenvale. It's the Buffalo City 700, round 2 of the South African Endurance Series. Looks like Willie Adlam is chopping and changing from his preferred afternoon's entertainment here with yours truly, and is tuning into the Formula One qualifying at the same time for Monaco tomorrow. Don't forget, if you're in the Johannesburg area and you want to go and find a nice spot to watch that, Ridgeway Race Bar will be having the live stream of that, and well, not the live stream, the live event, of course, on their screens. Oh, this is a nice shot. Saloon cars and GT3s in full flight out of Potter's Pass. Zolile looking to get through there on Jenkins. Shouldn't be too much of an issue there for the Lambo to get on the inside of the Cooper. Yeah, there we go. Next up will be Keegan Masters in the Golf GTI. And from there it will be Saul Hack in the Polo Cup, the Polo Super Cup GTI. And then Chris Pretorius in the Alfa Giulietta. So there's saloon cars, one Cobra in the mix there. I think that might be Brennan Dean's Cobra, if I'm not mistaken. Just looking at that one. Is it the Gas Monkey one? Yeah, I think it is. So saloon cars and one Cobra fighting through the complex. The GT3 Lamborghini, leading car of Zulile Letlaka, doing a superb job, considering the fact that that car's got some huge damage on it after a big incident down at Rifle Range. Second turn on this circuit. You are not mistaken, Mr. Van Willensdorf. Andrew Horn, unfortunately, is not racing this weekend. He did not make it down here, the Nash Sports. No Nash Sports made it to the circuit for the second round. And maybe going to be sorted out by the time they get to Swartkops for the next round of this championship. It's quite a long break. The entire June we don't have any racing, but we go to Swartkops on the 17th of July for the third round of this championship. And looking forward to all of that action, of course, as well at the Pretoria West circuit. That is Richard Rutz once again now starting to get onto the back end of one of the back marker Cobras. Manfred Schroeder about to learn how to outbrake somebody into turn number 8 here at Beacon Corner. Clark now on Chris Pretorius down the back straight, listening in the background. I heard the Shelby Can-Am back on track as well. There it is. Right on cue from my director. Thank you, Daryl. Wonder if there's a change up in that driver. Just going to look and see. No, it's still Flashman at the wheel. Our autistic driver from the UK is at the wheel of Doug McDonald's Shelby Can-Am. Two hours, 22 minutes and 22 seconds. Everybody on 1 foot, please. It's a double Nelson. There's no Nelsons driving today. Is there? There's no Nelsons driving today. No, there's no Nelsons driving today. But there's certainly a double Nelson right there as we went into commentary with 2 hours, 22 minutes and 22 seconds to go. So we have got Zolile Letlaka trying to maintain the gap over second place Yuri Swart. It's down to 7.5 seconds for the lead. So as I mentioned, there's a big flame out of the Cobra. Mike McLaughlin in fourth place. Let's see what's going to happen in that little battle. So the Lambo goes onto the beach straight. Watch in the background, there's the pull beam, just behind Saul Hack's Team Perfect Circle Bucketless Racing Super Cup Polo. So it's less than half of the beach straight that Zolile Letlaka has got now over Yuri Swart. One thing you got to take into account here, take nothing away from Zolile Letlaka's ability in the car, but it is a damaged Lamborghini that they are driving at the moment. So they're going to be watching that and listening for all sorts of scrapes and noises coming out of the back end of that car after Chops had a big incident in race 1 today of the South African GT Racing Association round 2. Other in fact, of course, is Yuri Swart, multiple SA karting champion, loads of experience, where Zolile possibly hasn't had as much experience. Remember, Zolile Letlaka came into Stradale Motorsport only 2 seasons ago. Into the pit lane comes Team Perfect Circle's Polo. So Perfect Circle Polo coming into pit lane now to hand over to on a side note. We'll get Gary van der Spade down in pit lane to maybe pick up on some of that action in the pit lane, but we've got a couple of cars down in pit lane as well. Cobra's on the beach straight. And Letlaka looking for a chance now to possibly do some maneuvering to stay ahead. It's 7 seconds now between himself and Yuri Swart for second. There is the gap. Lamborghini in the foreground. Overtaking on the left-hand side of your screen is the pull beam of Yuri Swart. Letlaka gets led through there by Manfred Schroeder. Good driving from the back marker. Look at that. Swart closing up rapidly now. He's got no traffic between himself and the Lambo out front. Might not be a bad plan here for one of these teams to possibly think of a pit stop. There is the Team Perfect Circle and Bucketless Racing Super Cup Polo GTI in pit lane. Hack has got out the car and he's busy strapping on a side note into the Team Perfect Circle Bucketless Racing Polo. Clipping the communication device in. Flashman Finneran slowing through Potters. Problem there for the Shelby Can-Am. First and second going through Potters as well. That's how close it is. Oh, possibility of a safety car now. Finneran had to pull to the sideline there as we're watching the pull beam go down towards Rifle. But if we come back to that shot, and you'll see just in front, in the foreground of that shot, Daryl, back to the pit lane as we go to the change of shot on track. Saul Hack climbs out the car, hands it over to Andre Besaidnote. There is a car stopped on the exit of Potters Pass, which is a dangerous position for a car to be in. Looks like the driver might have got out the car as well. I can't see him in there. But safety car has been deployed. Exactly what I thought. Safety car down towards turn 1. And we'll pick up on one of the Cobras who's just pulled out of pit lane. So safety car again. And that's the reason for it. The P7 GWM getting up close and personal to try and get the car back to pit lane. Flashman running across to get back in the car. He just got out of harm's way there, so not bad thinking there from the driver to get out of the car because he knows he's in a dangerous position and get out of the way before the recovery vehicle could get to him. Into pit lane again for the Auto Investments Ligier. Looks like problems again. It is an electrical issue that's hounding these guys. It really is becoming a big problem for them. Big pity here for Rian Botma, Henk Latergan, and of course their teammate Wojciech Piro. Team Perfect Circle guys just battling a little bit there with the wheels. They're going to be getting that car sorted as soon as they can. Looks like front left might be a bit of a problem. Just getting the torque wrench onto the car to get the wheel tightened up. Another safety car scenario here again with 2 hours and 17 minutes to go. Do you think we'll be able to come to the track at Swartkops? Mark van Willersdorp? I don't think so, my brother. Because at this point in time, it doesn't look like we can get any spectators to any sport. If you look at the news that happened over the week with sport at school being cancelled, possibility of that third wave is going to be killing motorsport, I think, from a spectator point of view, and maintaining status quo with only teams and personnel in the teams allowed to the track. It's a big pity, I know, but unfortunately it is part and parcel of the terrible pandemic the world is experiencing at the moment. These Cobra guys, okay, I know that is possibly a rookie to this race series there, Manfred Schroeder, should be trying to make up ground now and get onto the back of the cars that have been picked up by the safety car. They should be trying to make that ground up now under safety car scenario, and that'll give them a little bit of a respite to sort things out. Pull beam has come in, Greg Walker at the wheel. Good timing. Using the safety car to not lose ground in the race. Might have lost ground to the battle he was in there with Lamborghini of Zolile Letlaka, but Greg Walker now has taken over the duties in the pull beam from Yuri Swart. Yuri Swart's done a long stint. It's an hour and 45 minutes he's been at the wheel. They're not allowed to drive more than 2 hours, these drivers, so there's a good time to bring Yuri in and give the duties of the pull beam over to Greg Walker. Greg Walker will be doing the same thing a bit later on to Francis Carruthers. Francis Carruthers, of course, the owner of that vehicle. All the way from Cape Town, the three drivers. There's a long line of race cars still involved in this one as they go through there. Looks like that might be the 4 car, or Brandon Dean's car. No, it's Brandon Dean's car. Peter Jenkins, then it's the number 4 car piloted at the moment. Just trying to pick up on that 4 car on my timing monitor by Claire Vale. Claire Vale has taken over now from Morna Jurgens. Is that Brian Martin at the wheel? No, it's still Mike McLaughlin. McLaughlin's still at the wheel there of the GT5 SA Cobra. The pit stop there for Andre Besaidnout and Saul Hackers dropped them down to 5th place behind Steve Clark and Richard Ritz. So the tow rope's a bit short on that P7. Look how tight it is there. And the reason being, of course, is the Shelby Can-Am's tow point is above the driver's head. So it makes it slightly shorter. But good job there from Ian Riddle, our official course car driver, and of course the P-Series truck from Aval Edenvale and GWM. Beg your pardon. Clinton Rebello at the wheel of the Lotus coming out, trying to avoid getting the car to overheat behind cars in front of him. It's definitely one of the big factors you need to take into account when you're following so closely behind race cars. The heat in the engine and of course the heat coming off the vehicle from the tyres as well. There's a lot more than what we generated on a normal road surface. So you don't want to be getting that hot air into the engine intakes. Try and keep it as cool as possible. There is the lead car of Letlaka. At the back of this pack should be the pull beam by this point. Or it's nearly there. It's just coming through the shot in about 3, 2, 1. Not bad, eh? I just saw it in the background of the shot, so I was hoping that Darryl was going to stick with it, and he did. Giving us a chance to spot that pull beam onto the back of the pack now. So they've done their pit stop. It hasn't cost them time. That's the important thing. It has cost them a little bit of track position, but not time. So good effort there from them to get it all sorted out. Under safety car is a proper good time to come in to do some pit stop scenarios and pit stop strategies. But when you've got a couple of safety cars like we've had already today, it can mess you around ever so slightly. We are back in racing though, as the Jolion has moved into pit lane and heading into turn 1. Potters, it's Glenton Rebello who takes the lead of the race, but not the lead overall. Letlaka in 3rd place is still leading that position. Greg Walker in the pull beam at the back of the field now behind Andre Besaidnout. Side note closing in on the back end of the Giulietta. Still Chris Pretorius at the wheel of the Giulietta. He'll have to come in at some point. I'm surprised they didn't come in during the safety car to do their driver change. Container Force Racing and of course Bucket List Racing combined here with Peter Jenkins, the Jedi, getting out of the Mini Cooper, John Cooper Works S, and handing over the duties to Rob Clark, who will take over for the second part of this race. A couple of changes between Cobras as they go down the back straight away, but back to the front of the field and ahead of everybody else on track as well goes the Lamborghini. Going into this one, of course, we're also looking at Richard Rutz, who potentially could have come in to hand over to Steve Clark. According to I'm looking at that car, it says Steve Clark on the time monitor, but I think that's definitely, I beg your pardon, it isn't. It is Steve Clark now. Steve Clark is at the wheel of that car, so apologies for that. I was going to say it looked like Richard Rutz's helmet, but it's actually Steve Clark's helmet that we picked up on there. Problems there for one of the Cobras. That was the People Group and Gerald Wright Motorsport machine. Dean Wilson was at the wheel of that car, and it seems to be slowing slightly there. He's the 8th place Cobra, but he's sitting currently third in Class E. Golf GTI still circulating well. Greg Walker now starting to get into the pack. Andre Mercedes note coming through on one of the Cobras into turn 1 as well as they're going to Potters. On the inside, I think that is. Let's have a look and see who's back the wheel of that car at the moment. I saw it was. We got there. Billy Erasmus at the wheel of that car. Erasmus, of course, teammate now to Brandon Dean. Comes the GTI Golf 8 into gate corner, and relatively easy pass done there by Keegan Masters. It's on the 6 car. It's Dion Krill now at the wheel of that machine, and looks like they've got that car sorted out. Had some problems early on. I remember it was one of the reasons we had a safety car earlier with Robin Krill behind the wheel, his wife. Now Stian at the wheel trying to make up some ground. McClark completes another lap. .62 laps complete. Oh, and the pull beam spun! The pull beam was spun out second place. Greg Walker has made a big mistake into the complex and has spun out. So this could be very, very tricky for him. They are a lap up on McLaughlin. And if he doesn't get the car going quickly, he may lose a little bit of time and ground. He's got it back on track. Maybe a bit over eager there with slightly cooler tyres, having been behind the safety car for a while. But it's Walker who makes a mistake there in the pull beam. Still maintains second at the moment, but we'll see whether or not that'll change up. I don't think it will. He had about a lap on Mike McLaughlin in third. But mistakes like that can be costly. At this point in time, Zolila Tlaka in the Lamborghini's in first place. Got a young man on my shoulder there asking. So the white Lamborghini is the lead car at this point in time. Second place, it's Greg Walker in the pull beam. And Mike McLaughlin, there he is. Third place into the complex in gate corner. So into gate corner, good move there from Wilson, making up some ground now. Seemed to have a little bit of an issue, but I think he sorted it out. As he goes down there, just behind him, that is the car that's trying to chase him down of David Kutsir at the wheel now of the Dimatayo Racing Cobra. Wilson in 8th, trying to make up some ground as well, of course, on Harm Pretorius just up the road in the Pesty Racing Cobra. That's the all-orange car. Car ahead of Rob Clark now, behind the wheel of the Mini Cooper, John Cooper Works S. Is Clinton Ravello still out there? Yes, he is. Clinton Ravello still out in the Lotus. Hasn't handed over to Anton just yet. Golf GTI 8 still in the hands of Keegan Masters. I can tell you what they are doing from a Volkswagen Motorsport point of view, in my opinion, is that they're using this race for some development on that car and getting some data, valuable data that'll be put into place later on this year. Don't forget, we have got a second round in East London, and that happens in October. We come here on the first weekend of October for a second time to the East London Grand Prix circuit with the SA Endurance Series. We go to Swartkops on the 17th of July. We go to PE on the 28th of August. So still lots to do in this championship. And of course we also go to Cape Town for a classic 9 hours of racing at the end of the season. Greg Walker going to try and get into a little bit of a rhythm now. But have a look at that. How is that for a way to turn things around there? At this point in time, the pull beam was the length of the beach straight behind the Lamborghini. Now it's almost completely reversed. The leading Lamborghini of Zelile Latlaka is currently sitting almost the length of the beach straight behind the pull beam, and possibly going to take another lap back on Greg Walker. There's Pesty Racing's Harm Pretorius on his tail, on a side note for Team Perfect Circle and Bucket List Racing. They're probably going to outgun the Pesty Racing Cobra on the brakes down into Cocobana. We'll watch for that. In the background, we're seeing McLaughlin come through. On episode, try to close the gap down on McLaughlin. That's the battle for third place there. The red Cobra with the big wing, GT5 SA, third place overall. And on episode note, just in the background of that shot, previous shot that is, looking to close things down there on McLaughlin's Cobra. That's how things stand at this point in time. So Lila Clark leading things out over Greg Walker, McLaughlin, Beside Note, Steve Clark and Richard Rutz in 5th place. And there they go, up to the top of the hill towards Beacon. Pull beam's got some work to do now with Walker. Let's see if we get a shot of Leclerc in the background coming down under braking. There he is. Second place on the road into gate, coming out of Cocobana at the top of the shot. So Lila Leclerc XO doing a magic job there in the lead of the race. He's looking to come and take another lap down on the man in second place there, Greg Walker. McLaughlin also under a bit of pressure now from Beside Note. Beside Note looking to just get back a few laps that they lost under their pit stop. Wait and see if he's able to do that. He's got to make up 2 laps at this moment. Lamborghini leads out at this point in time, and he's got some work to do now to stay at the front end of this race, but of course he has got a bit of breathing room with the lap or so, and possibly up to 2 laps now the next time he gets through on Greg Walker. Love seeing Mike McLaughlin down the back straight and beat straight, because you see that massive flame come out of the side of McLaughlin's Cobra. Backdraft Roadster doing such a good job. He's going to be partnering up, of course, with Brian Martin as Martin gets in the car a bit later on. We've got 2 hours and 3 minutes and a little bit of change to go. Coming up to the halfway stage of this race, that's Willie Erasmus getting a little bit sideways. In fact, Steve Clark, I beg your pardon.
Are you driving back tonight? No.
16 car. No, it was Willie Erasmus. I beg your pardon. Let's go with my gut feeling rather than having to rethink myself. Erasmus sideways into the complex there. Ex-teammate of mine there, Willie Erasmus. Actually did a bit of driving with him with the Big Boss Auto Racing team for a while. Great to see him still piloting some cars and a very good talent in behind the race car as well. Spent a bit of time in the BMW Car Club Racing Series. And also a seasoned veteran when it came to the NX Legends. And of course, NX Legends this weekend up at Swartkops for the Inland and Historic Championships. Been a busy weekend's motorsport, I can tell you. The East London Grand Prix circuit, full effect with the South African Endurance Series and South African GT Racing Association. We've got National Motocross up at Valcom. We've got Inland and Historic Racing happening at the Swartkops Raceway. And of course down in PE we've got the Daytona Rally happening. Tomorrow it's all about the jewel in the crown of Formula One, Monaco. That's really cool. All problems again for Glenton Rebello and the Lotus team. Oh, that is such a pity. They were going so well, and that car's got such huge potential when it comes to endurance racing. I've raced with that team as well. Looks like Barney's going to have to do a little bit of work. Let's see if they can get that car sorted out. So it looks like Walker's got into a bit of a rhythm now because he's maintained the gap between himself and Letlaka. So Lila's not able to make any ground on the pull beam there, just up the road from him. Keep an eye on that one, that's for sure. Messages coming out of Gary van der Spey. Bottom car out due to electrical issues, so we've lost the Ligier. That's a bit of a pity there. Hoping that Gary van der Spey hears us on the microphone or is in the background of our shot right now. Say, a Stradale Motorsport Cappuccino would go down really nicely right now. Hey, Paul. Yes, a Stradale Motorsport Cappuccino would be unbelievable. I'm going to go and speak to Bernie, see if she can make me one. I would be in your debt. Because we get 2 hours of racing on the dot. And we got 2 hours to go in 59 seconds. So that'd be amazing, Gary. No, we need 3 cappuccinos up here stat. And if you get me a Brian cappuccino, I'll be even better. So it looks like the pull beam coming up on the back end now of Andre Besaidnout. But is it Besaidnout slowing there slightly, or is there a bit of a problem? No, he's not. Just the way that the camera angle was there, it looked like Besaidnout was slowing, but he was in full flight there for Team Perfect Circle and Bucketless Racing. About to be caught and passed by the pull beam, but of course there is a big differential in terms of power output of those two cars. We spoke about power and torque on the Team Perfect Circle post earlier today. They'll be looking to just power through this and possibly end up on the podium again as they did last year. Second place overall, winners of the index of performance as well. Down into turn 1 comes Mike McLaughlin and David Kutsia. Matera Racing Cobra going well. 2 hours up on the dot. Thank you. And it's Zodila Letlaka leading Class GT3, and overall Class T it is Greg Walker in second place overall as well, but leading Class T. GT5 SA is Mike McLaughlin in third place overall. Class B is Andre Besaidnout and Sol Hack. They are currently in the lead of Class B and fourth overall on track. So Steve Clark leads out in Class E ahead of Han Pretorius, Dean Wilson, David Kutsia and Villiers Rasmus. Top 5 of the Cobra class are in the top 10. And in 9th place, just splitting them there ever so slightly, you can see also it was Class B's second place, Chris Pretorius. Sorry to make you go back to that one. Then behind that, Claire Val in Class E ahead of Manfred Schroeder. Class A, Rob Clark still leading in Class A, but of course he's in 13th place overall. Stian Kriel ahead of Bortma, who's unfortunately out. Flash Finneran is out. Keegan Masters making up some ground through the field. Jonathan Thomas also trying to make up some ground, but not quite there just yet. And we're also looking for, of course, that's it. We're down to 17 cars that are currently still racing. 17 cars in this field. 27 started, so we've had a big attrition rate in the first 2 hours. What's going to happen now in the second 2 hours of racing? Crew getting a little bit arty out there now, eh? It's that time of the day. The arty shots are coming from our camera crew. Little crash zoom there. Little crash zoom from our cameraman on the pit wall. Showing the kind of pace they can do across the line. Letlaka again, another lap down. Sure. I've got to start contemplating the possibilities of the first victory coming from Zolile Letlaka here with Chop Sapuka in his stable. Oh, the pull beam's pulled to the sideline at Kokabana. Problems there for the pull beam of Greg Walker. There's an issue for race second place and about to be lapped. Letlaka going past the pull beam and another lap taken back. Greg Walker is going to be kicking himself. The lead car has just gone past Walker as he pulls to the sideline of Kokabana and out of harm's way. But whatever the issue was, he got it going and it's back on track. But it means you probably have to come into pit lane at some point, possibly by the end of this lap, just to double check that there are no issues on that pull beam from Cape Town, from Harp Motorsport. The car's back on track though, so don't worry there, Daryl. I just picked up on it at Kokobani. You were spot on the shot there, buddy. Thank you for that. But he has got back up and running. Maybe you should want to watch for him coming into pit lane. I don't know if Gary's down in pit lane at the moment, but possibility of that pull beam coming into pit lane. Into pit lane though comes Mike McLaughlin. The third placed GT5 SA leading car, third overall, first in his class, into the pit lane. That's probably a scheduled stop there for them. This communication device is being changed there. Over to me. See when they get in the car. Can't work it out from the helmet, unfortunately. Don't recognise that helmet design. McLaughlin's the man who got out the car. Clarker goes past Besaidnote on the beat straight again. And the pull beam in the background trying to make up the ground that he lost, having gone off the circuit there. Greg Walker didn't come in. So whatever the issue was, he seems to have sorted it out all on his own sim. Let's see whether Walker can do anything now about closing and retaking that lap back again. Looks like it is now. Where are we there? Let's go down to pick up on that machine. David Kutsia piloting the 77 Demeter Racing Cobra. Dean Wilson in the shot, heading into gate corner. Rob Clark in 13th place now in the Mini, who's just ahead there. Well, it's not Brian Martin and it's not Mike McLaughlin, so we'll have to wait and see as he crosses the beam here to find out who's taken over from Mike McLaughlin. It's Trevor Graham. Trevor Graham at the wheel. He'll now take over the duties there for the Backdraft Roadster team. Trying to maintain third place overall ahead of Andre Besaidnote. He goes into turn one as Besaidnote comes out of the final corner. Looks like going to do a little battery change there for the guys downstairs. So we're getting a frozen cappuccino here from Gary. Thank you for that one, Gary. I won't say no, I'll never say no to Coca-Cola though. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. So I can tell you what it is. The cappuccino machine down at Stradale Motorsport's got a gearbox problem. It is great to see Chop Sapuka back, Tom. I've got to agree with you there. Thank you, Ivan the Terrible, for sorting out our live microphone as well. Apologies for the break in proceedings downstairs. Ivan Newman's done an amazing job here as always, and we do appreciate having him in the background of our team as well for the live stream and giving us the ability not only to go to the people down in pit lane, but also, of course, to the few and far between show and shine people on the outside of the track. We're not allowed spectators at the circuit, but you know what? It's a public road. So if they stop and just have a broken down vehicle of some nature, or have to change a tire, which takes 4 hours, well, what can we do? I got my good friend here, Eric Schultz, over my shoulder. Come and join me here for 2 seconds, Brother Bear. How's things going so far? We've had quite a few incidents out there which have called for the safety car from Raval, but things seem to have kind of cooled down a bit.
Yeah, you know, it's the nature of the circuit. When something goes wrong here, it's generally at high speed, so we'll end up with tyre wall damage. So yeah, the safety cars are generally a little bit longer than normal. But yeah, like you said, we haven't had one in a while, touch wood, and let's hope it carries on like that.
From your side of things, seems to be going according to plan with the race control guys all playing the game and not disobeying any of the rules out there, which is good. It means that the series is working well too.
Yeah, look, I mean, there's penalties handed out the whole time for misdemeanors, mainly under safety, 1 or 2 for overtaking before the line that's been handed out today. Anything else has all just been sort of safety stuff in the pits, which is most important for us.
That's always a nice thing for you from a PE's point of view, seeing that man climb back behind the wheel of a race car. Chop Sapuka back into full-scale motorsport again.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's great. Chops has always had such a great following, especially here in East London, closer to his hometown of Kumbu, and the support around him. If you saw a 3/4 page in the Daily Dispatch, and you know, it's been great. It's always good having him. He's a likeable chap, and he's shown us that he can actually pedal.
Yeah, showing us he can destroy cars again as well, but that's all part and parcel of motorsport. Fortunately, he's with a team that can sort it all out. Thanks, Eric, for that. Make sure jumping in there to give us a little bit of insight. Gary, you got some stuff as well for us.
Did you know that if these guys win this, it will be the first team of colour ever to win an endurance race in South Africa?
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to bring the commentator's curse just yet. There's still an hour and 51 minutes to go. So if that goes wrong, it's all Gary's fault. Yeah, but it's certainly something that I've had in the back of my mind, and it'll be really awesome to see if they get that all right.
Also, they've led the whole race so far.
Yes, they have. Yeah, they have. Well, they've led the whole race, barring Ari's personal stint.
Yeah.
So Ari had a little bit of a stint at the front, but it has been Stradale leading the race right from the word go, 100%. Oh, look at that. Andre Besaidnout with some damage. Besaidnout's had an incident somewhere on track. There's a bit of light missing from the front end of that car. And I wonder who he's come together with there. I wonder if it was battling there with Clerval in the Cobra. It was those two. So there was an incident there between Besaidnout and Clerval. Clerval in the 4 car. Bucketless Racing are going to have double work to do now, because I think we're going to see the Team Perfect Circle Polar having to come in with the Chris Pretorius handing over to Jaden Else now in the Alfa Giulietta. So Alfa Romeo Giulietta and the Super Cup Polar about to come into pit lane. It could be a little bit of pit lane frantic activity down at Bucketless Racing in the next couple of minutes. Let's wait and see if that's going to be the case. Back to Trevor Graham now at the wheel of the Backdraft Roadster as he closes in on some of the back markers in Class E of the Cobra class. You could call it the Cobra Kai actually, because there's so many of them out there. Great to see the initiative put together by Tony Martin and his team from Backdraft Cobra. Are we going to see the Polo come in? Maybe they've kept him out for a while because of the fact that they've got the Alfa Romeo in the pit box. I want to concentrate. I think if there is a little bit of damage on the car, Andre might be able to sort of nurse it round for at least a lap before having to come in. I'm watching to see if he did come in or not, and if he did, I might have missed that. But let's wait and see if that's the case. If he has stayed out with a bit of damage, he should be going. Yeah, he's still out there. He's got back ahead of Clerval with a bit of damage on the front bumper. I don't think he wants to come in if there's no necessity for it just yet. And of course, as I said, being part of this 3-car team with Jaden Else and Chris Pretorius doing the driver change and refuel, there may not be enough hands on doing the duty they require for that pit stop now for Andre Besaidnout and the battle scars that may need to be duct taped up. Interesting the way things have turned out now for the second half of this race. We're halfway through, hour and 49 to go. Looks like the McDonald car is back on track. I'm not quite sure who's at the wheel of that. It is Doug McDonald now. Just looking at the helmet design. McDonald at the wheel of his Shelby Can-Am. There is the slightly damaged front left there of Andre Besaidnout's Super Cup Polo GTI. Doesn't seem to be hindering him at the moment, but of course, when you're doing almost 200 k's an hour through rifle, and then you climb on the brakes, if that bumper goes under the wheel, it could rip the bumper off. So they will be watching that, I'm sure. I think even the COC will be watching that in case of emergency, and the necessity to bring in Andre Besaidnout for a quick checkup. He has definitely lost the front left light of the Super Cup Polo from Bucketless Racing. Now his Bucketless Racing compatriot is about to go at it with Clerval. What is that, Clerval? No, that's not Clerval that he's fighting with there. Who's he fighting with there? Just want to double check if it is Val. Yeah, Bucketless Racing now. Jaden Else at the wheel of the Alfa Giulietta. Cobra coming out of pit lane, just giving way to Greg Walker's flight into Potter's Pass. Pullbeam has not put a wheel wrong. There's only been a small mistake out of Greg Walker that's caused them to drop back slightly. Do we have a change in leadership? According to the timing monitor, we do. And that's due to the fact that Zolile was in the pit lane changing over Chop Sapuka. So we do have a change there. Maybe you want to just put that up for me, Paul, if you can. Just the top 10. And top 10 as it stands with the lead change. Greg Walker now leading things out in the pull beam ahead of Zolile Latlaka. And now, of course, it is Chop Sapuka at the wheel. Okay, we're looking at 16th to 25th at the moment. Matamba, Marais, Pierce, Neerveling, Radloff all out. And into pit lane comes Chop Sapuka. I wonder what that was for. Maybe a discretion under the pit stop that came in for a drive-through penalty. It is going to lose him some time. How far back is going to drop him? Just waiting for the timing monitor to reboot itself and reshuffle itself after that. If I'm not mistaken, but definitely Greg Walker leading things out now. So Walker coming down into Potter's Pass, your new leader of the Buffalo City 700. Courtesy and proudly sponsored by Bigfoot Express Freight and Toys R Us South Africa, with the support of Haval Edenvale with both the pace and course cars today. Cobra's on the beach straight, being closed down by that pull beam. There is Letlaka going in, and Chop Sapuka at the wheel now, in second place. Chops has got the ability to circulate probably quicker than Greg Walker's able to do. Maybe he can make up the ground. There is confirmation, thanks Paul for that. Greg Walker, Class T, and overall leader at this point in time, ahead of Chop Sapuka in GT3 SA, and second place, GT5 SA, and third place is Trevor Graham. Leading Class B on Mercedes note. Class E's are Clark, Pretorius, Wilson. Jaden Nels splitting them a little bit there. Willie Erasmus ahead of David Kutsia. Nels, of course, second place in Class B. One thing we are going to have to keep an eye on, of course, is the progress of Chop Sapuka at the wheel of the Stradale Motorsport Into Africa Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo. But we do also have to take into account that he has had a big off today in that car. So he can't push too hard because there is certainly a lack of downforce and aerodynamic package on that car after he destroyed the back end of it ever so slightly in race 1 of the South African GT Racing Association's round 2 here in East London. Yeah, you've just joined us all around the world. A big welcome to you, wherever you're waking up and catching some of the last part of what has been an incredible hour and 15 minutes, 2 hours I should say, 15 minutes of racing, hour and 45 to go. And, some work to be done now by a couple of cars in their mid-pack battles. One of them is the little battle we're seeing right here. See David Kutsia having to get through there on Dean Wilson. Wilson coming back at him. Sort of fight up for honours there in Class E. Looks like we're going to have a little look at the replay that possibly went down there between Andre Mercedes. Oh yeah, there he is. Mercedes diving on the inside of Claire Val, trying to find a way through. And I think Val saw him coming and had an opportunity. When we get another shot of that, it'll be quite lacquer. That worked very well there, Paul. Appreciate that. But let's have a quick squiz of that one more time, if we can. It's going into gate corner, and Andre Mercedes was a little late on the brakes there. Maybe looking for a way through. That possibly didn't work out for him. And possibly going into an opportunity there for an overtake, but didn't work out. So it's Walker on the beach straight, heading down to where that incident took place. Let's have a look at this in slow motion this time. Yeah, there we go. Mercedes holding nothing back, being exceptionally rude on the young lady in front. So that's how racing goes. He had a big look, didn't quite make it stick, and lost the front of the car. With the battle scars on that car, I'm sure he'll go and apologise afterwards, but in racing, those kind of things tend to happen. Possibly just trying something that he didn't quite have the room to make into gate corner. So our replay system works. We've just tested that. Well done, Paul. Lovely work, Daryl didn't even know what was happening there. We're just going to try some stuff and he doesn't even know. Daryl's just continuing on with the racing, giving us all the entertainment and all the action that we're seeing. ST Racing just being given an opportunity to go through. Cobra's heading down the main straight now. Laps being completed here. We have now up to 80 laps done in the hour and 2 hours and 20 minutes of racing that we've had. Stepping into my studio in the background here is a good friend of mine and a man who spent a good couple of laps only a week ago at the Prix Freeway. It's great to have Wouter Rus here from Cape Town from Car Care Clinic. Buddy, so far, what do you think?
I think it's magic. I think this endurance racing is something to behold. I think the guys are having awesome fun.
It's awesome to see how this series has grown over the 9 years it's been involved with the South African Endurance Series, and how many cars have got involved, and different cars and different manufacturers. Great to see the array of vehicles too, with sports cars, saloon cars, going at it with the big Cobra class.
Absolutely, and of course we've got magic weather here today. I came up from Cape Town this morning, and it was rather miserable down there, and the weather's perfect here.
Quite nice for better weather than what we got right now. The breeze has died down, which is helping out a big time. It's conducive to a good finish here, because you've been watching from the sideline and also being down at Volkswagen Motorsport. What's been happening down there, buddy? You've been trying to get some information. Tell us maybe a little bit of insight.
I actually don't know. They've obviously had a very long day. I know Graham and the team have really tried to get the car going again, but it seems it's out now. I actually don't know what's happened.
When they went out, I had to assume that they were going out to try and get some data, because we do come back here in October for a second round at the East London Grand Prix circuit, so maybe that data will be invaluable by the time we get here for the second time.
That would make sense. I actually didn't think of that, but this is a perfect opportunity for them to obtain some of the data that they can use then.
Awesome stuff, Voti. Thanks for that, buddy. Nice little insight there from my good friend Wouter Rus, Car Care Clinic man from down in the Cape region. I think there's 4 of them now that he's part and parcel of. 5, in fact, I beg your pardon. So a massive thanks for him for joining in there. A little insight from down in pit lane that we may not always get, but it's great to have him coming in here and being part and parcel of our production today. Looking at the production right now, Greg Walker could be in a little bit of a threat. I think Chop Sapuka is starting to open up the width there ever so slightly. Looking at the lap times, we're getting currently out of him, it's 120.981s and 125s out of Greg Walker. Walker can take it a little bit easier, but of course with the pace that Sapuka is picking up on now, there's a good possibility he can make up that ground and retake the lead. Walker will be coming in for a second stop, and I think possibility is that Chops, if he takes the lead, may give the car back to Zolile to finish up this one. And that'll be really awesome to see. As we said, we're not going to put the commentator's curse on it just yet, but there is a bit of history in the making here if things go the way that Strudale Motorsport want them to go by the time the checkered flag comes out. Right, looks like, yeah, Besaidno's been in, which has lost him a little bit of ground, but he's definitely got the car sorted out, and they've managed to maybe just pin that car back together with a bit of duct tape and zip ties. Yeah, there's definitely a lot cleaner front end on the Team Perfect Circle and Bucketless Racing Super Cup Polo GTI. That's a car that you drive, right? You must love life in those cars. How good are those cars being made?
Well, you can see what happens. It's actually a stock standard Polo they're driving, and it's an incredible performance they're getting out of the car down here at the coast.
Remember, these are the guys that finished second overall last year in their own car and won the Index of Performance, and it was the very first time that Volkswagen had brought those cars into the country. We ran them as Global Touring Car Super Cup class last year, inaugural championship, and these guys decided, listen, why don't we have a go in the Endurance Championship? And it turned out to be an exceptionally good endurance car.
Absolutely, and as I said, it's a stock standard car. It's the one your granny drives to Checkers as well, and these drivers are exceptionally talented to get this performance out of the car.
I like the way he puts that. Your granny drives it. There we go, coming in. This is where we're going to see a little bit of extra work being done on that car, just to make sure that everything is okay. Looks like they might need to add a little bit of duct tape and zip ties there. If they can't fix it with duct tape and zip ties, you're not using enough duct tape and zip ties. Now, there it is. Look at that. There it is. Right on cue. White and red duct tape being strapped unceremoniously all over the front end of that car. Nice to see the big boss man stepping in there to get it all sorted out. There shouldn't be too much of an issue there. I don't think he's going to lose too much ground there to Steve Clark or to Rafa Grutz. He still should maintain a top 4 in this race. What a way to go. Greg Walker currently under threat though. Sapuka's dropped it down to almost 40 seconds, the gap now. It was almost a lap, so that's 1 minute 20. So he's brought about 40 seconds back there on the lead car. And 5 seconds quicker on the last lap as well. So that's why he's making up the ground he has. Mercedes back on track, heading down into Potter's Pass, just picking up through the window of our commentary booth here. That's his teammate, Jaden Nelson, at the wheel of the Alfa Romeo Giulietta. And you can see that there is, down in pit lane, we've got Gary van der Spey, who's picked up on an interview down there to find out what's happening there. Let's go down to Gary.
But managed to catch up with Saul Hack. Saul driving that little Super Cup polo, going fantastically well. Bit of damage to the front there. Is Andre having a hard time out there?
No, I think there's a little bit of traffic, and I think maybe someone misjudged how close they were and they came together. It's the thing of endurance racing. It is what it is.
Now you're stunt in the car, taking that car through Potters and Rifle. Give us some idea what that experience is about.
I think Potters and Rifle in any car is a little bit of a brown coat type of corner, but it's a lot of fun. It's a great car to drive. You know, the speed that we're doing, like minimum speed 216 or 220 through there. I mean, it's impressive. So it's a lot of fun.
A lot of guys ask me, are you full tap through there or you lift off?
It's a small lift with a touch of the brakes just to settle the car, then it's back on the throttle full taps.
So thank you very much for your time, and I wish you guys all the best for the rest of the ride.
Right, no problem, thank you. Have a good one.
Right, back to Greg, all yours.
There you go, a little insight there from Saul Hack as to what went down, and on the Mercedes second pit stop there for some duct tape repairs. Ian Harwood has rejoined us as part of our live stream commentary and comments flying there. Van Willensdorf is still there, and Andrew Horn, yes, Horn Dog is in the house, and responded to a question earlier on from Mark Van Willensdorf saying yes, unfortunately, sadly not this time, but hopefully by the time we get back up to the Highvelds and of course back onto the circuit of Swartkops, we'll see the Nash Sport and the Nash Special of Andrew Horn rejoining. Okay, so it's Ian Harwood has joined us as well. Thanks for that. McDonald going at it, fighting hard to try and find a way through. Car circulating now. This is where things start to become a little bit more tender, a little bit more ginger driving from the drivers. Guys pushing hard. One car in particular is Chop Sapuka. He's brought the gap down to 28 seconds. So the lead car, that one in shot, the pull beam of Greg Walker, is under big threat. Walker's just come out of the complex. Bit of smoke coming out of one of the Cobras in the background there. Oh, that's big smoke coming out of that Cobra. I think that's body rub on the tyres though, I think, more than anything else. So it looks like a bit of damage on the back end of that one Cobra. About to be passed by Chris Pretorius into gate corner. Let's watch for that. Is that Willie Erasmus's car? Yes, it is. Erasmus has got front and back damage on that car. Look at the front end of that Cobra. He's gone into the back of something. And Erasmus will now try and get that gas monkey machine back into the pit box. See if they can get that sorted out down in their pit lane. Side note was giving away there to the Mini ever so slightly and then just got on the power, maybe just in the wrong gear. But he carries on and circulates at the front end of Class B. Still 5th overall for that Super Cup Polo GTI. There is the man looking to get to the front. Chop Sapuka pushing exceptionally hard to try and find a way to catch the pull beam out front of Greg Walker. We'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. See whether or not we can see any changes in the way things are going to finish up here for this second part of the day's racing and second half of what has been a very, very drama-filled race meeting here. Or Jaden Nelson, beg your pardon, at the wheel now of the Bucket List Racing Alfa Giulietta. Erasmus still with some battle scars on the front end of that car. He didn't come in. So whatever was causing that smoke to come out of the back of the car seems to have sorted itself out. I think it might just be a bit of the bodywork that got caught under the back wheel. It's worked its way loose. Hopefully it hasn't caused a puncture on the car. Sapuka into turn 1 again. Potter's pass. Down to 26 seconds now. He's making up literally 2 seconds a lap on the lead car of the pull beam. That one there into gate corner. So the pull beam goes into gate. Let's watch for Sapuka in the background. There we go. There he is onto the beach straight. Chops late on the brakes in the gate. Finds a way through there on Manfred Schroeder. He's had a long stint in that car. Unless they forgot to change the transponder. But Schroeder still circulating in 11th place now and currently 6th overall in Class E. Oh, little mistake there from Jaden Als. Down into Kokobana corner. Got that one a bit wrong in the Alpha. He's back on track, but it's going to lose a little bit of ground there for him. They've moved up to 7th place overall. They have Jaden Als and Chris Pretorius. And if we can just get Rob Clark into the top 10, it'll be all 3 of the Bucket List Racing Team cars into top 10. So Als off track, but he's recovered. Got back on track there in the Alpha Giulietta. Greg Walker coming up and taking another lap back there on one of the backdraft Cobras. And now about to do the same thing on Andre Besaidnout with the battle scarred Team Perfect Circle Bucket List Racing Polo Super Cup GTI. Clark being passed by Sapuka again. Walker and Sapuka have completed 88 laps in anger at the moment. And they're looking to come through to complete another one. 89 there as well. Big fight between the 2 Cobras heading towards rifle range. Sure, big dive on the inside of rifle corner. That takes some big cojones as well. Potters is fast, but rifle range is equally as fast, and if not a bit more difficult, because it's an off-camber right-hander that you actually can't see the apex of the corner so easily. So the 4 car coming through there rapidly, and Morne Jurgens applying pressure and finding a way past on David Kutsia. 61 coming onto backline as well. Good to see Jonathan Thomas in full flight once again in his car. Had some problems early on, but he's got it back up and running. Action on track continues as Sapuka tries to close that gap down even more. It's down to 15 seconds. 15 seconds. Wow, that's incredible. It's taken about 10 laps for him to make up an entire lap behind the lead car of Greg Walker. Walker's probably going to be told in his earpiece just to take it easy, do what he's doing, don't do anything stupid. And hopefully the pressure will be on the chase car. But of course, as the lead car, you're always going to have pressure. The target is always on your back for these guys to try and make up the ground. Oh, that's awesome to see. Check that out. That is, of course, Mr. Else down in the Bucket List Racing pit watching our live stream. And that's what it's all about. Welcome, guys. Hope you're enjoying. Give us a wave there. Don't be scared. Hope you've enjoyed that one. That's great to see. So even the teams down in pit lane are picking up on our live stream action. Top Sapuka down to 10 seconds now onto the back end of the pull beam of Greg Walker. So we're probably looking at about 4 laps time. It'll be a battle for the lead. Maybe even less than that if I know a way Top Sapuka can circulate around the East London Grand Prix circuit. There it is. It's literally the beach straight now between them. Besaidnout comes up alongside his teammate, looking to go through. Blocks Sapuka ever so slightly, but of course he's going to overtake and take a lap back on Jaden Else, who just sees dad watching from the sideline there in the Bucket List Racing pit. Another lap going to be completed here. Back onto the beat straight. We're watching Trevor Graham, 3rd place overall. Jonathan Thomas back on track. In the 61 car, he's down though, unfortunately in 16th place. And looking at about 45 laps down on the leader. So going to just try and circulate to get some points in the championship. I think Jonathan Thomas has decided that's not a bad plan as the Lambo goes into turn 1 at Potters. Followed by Besaid Note, followed by Else. Jaden Else and Chris Pretorius have moved up into 6th place overall. Great effort there from the Alfa Romeo Giulietta and Bucket List Racing. There is 1st and 2nd. First, lead car, lights on, white and burnt orange. White car in the background is 2nd place, Chop Sapuka. The gap is down to 7.5 seconds. What an amazing bit of running here from Chop Sapuka to close that gap down, and he's closed it down rapidly. Still an hour and 25 minutes of racing to go. He comes up on the back end of Morné Jurgens by the looks of things. No, that's not Morné Jurgens. Who's at the wheel of that 4 car now? Jurgens has got the sort of Jean Lacey style helmet, so it's a red helmet in that car. I'm not quite sure who's piloting that car at the moment. I don't even know if our timing monitor's got it right either, because they had something driver in call. It says Morné, but I don't know if it is because of that helmet. Morné's got that John Lacey style helmet. Big battles all the way through, and they continue. McDonald trying to find a way through there on Pretorius. Byron Pretorius now at the wheel of the Pesty Racing Cobra. Into pit lane comes the People Group and Gerald Wright Motorsport Cobra. It looks like it actually might be Gerald Wright at the wheel of that car right now. Let's have a look and see if we're getting that one right. Here we go, watching for the lead as well. Out of pit lane. Besaid Note closing on Trevor Graham. No, that's not. That is Gerald Wright at the wheel. Gerald Wright at the wheel of the car now. That's the driver that's in question on our timing monitor there. Morné Jurgens is at the wheel of that other car. Apologies for that. But we had driver 4, which is what threw me off there. The 23 car, of course, is the People Group machine. That's the car that's just gone out. And it is Gerald Wright at the wheel of that car right now with the red helmet. That's what was throwing me off there. Dean Wilson has been out, so has Philip Mayer. It's now Gerald Wright behind the wheel of his own prepped car. Chop Sapuka looks like he's taking the lead. And where is Walker? If he's taking the lead, is Walker in pit lane? Walker possibly in pit lane as Chop Sapuka's come across the line and taken the lead of this race. I wonder if Greg Walker's gone into pit lane to do a scheduled stop and hand over to Francois Carruthers. Paul stepped out, so no, he's not on pit lane. He must be stuck out on the track somewhere then. Might have gone into the garage. They have to do some work on the car. He might have to go into the box itself as opposed to just parking on the apron of pit lane. But certainly confirmation on the timing monitor that that man right there, Chop Sapuka, and his teammate Zolile Letlaka are now leading this race with an hour and 22 minutes to go. Double wave yellows I saw in that previous shot there, Daryl. And possibly safety car. Oh, there we go. So I wonder if that's Walker. I have to assume it is because we have lost him on track. And safety car and course car have been deployed. So the P7 Bucky heads down to Potters Pass. Safety car will pick up on the first Cobra and allow Ian Riddle, our course car driver, to get that GWM P-Series Bucky down towards the incident. We're not quite sure where it is. I'm trying to find it looking out the windows of our commentary area here to try and spot an incident. I would assume it's in our blind spot, so it's got to possibly be on the exit of Rifle or up the back straight towards Beacon. It's not rifle because that P series has gone through there. So we can tick that one off as a possibility of where that car is. It may possibly be heading up towards Beacon Corner. Safety car has picked up on the lead Cobra. What this is going to do, of course, is concertina the pack of cars. And if we stay out for the next couple of minutes or so, everybody will be back into contention with potentially the cars that they are fighting for and fighting to get opportunities to get around or past or through on. And it is also going to do is give Chop Sapuka an opportunity to open up a massive margin over Walker. Because if that's the case, and Walker is out, Trevor Graham may move up. If he can find 2 laps on Walker's car, or 3 or 4 laps. Poseidon wants to do the same kind of thing. Looks like we're standing by for a possible driver change again down at the Bucketless Racing team. Hearing on our radio in the background there. Team Perfect Circle, Andre Poseidon going to be bringing that Polo in to hand it back to Saul Hack to possibly take them to the end of the day's racing. Hour and 20 minutes still to go. We'll keep an eye on that one. If there is a possibility, we may go down there quickly to watch the driver change. Double yellows and safety car scenario here for the 6th time today. Causing us a bit of a concern as to where Greg Walker's car might be. It's on one of the blind spots. I think it's up at the top of Beacon, where they've had to recover that car and get it back in. It's going to move Walker down possibly to second place, from second place I should say, to third. If Trevor Graham can make up the 2 laps that he is adrift under the safety car. Right, pit lane activity. Gerald Wright back in again for the People Group and Wright Motorsport Cobra. Andre Poseidon in as well to hand over back to Saul Hack. Poseidon going to climb out the car. Saul Hack will get in the car. These two will know exactly how to extricate themselves from a vehicle, having spent hours and hours doing practices getting in and out of the race Porsche that they piloted at the Kyalami 9 Hour. Amazing how that experience comes into play even at this level. Both drivers helping each other get in and out of the car, get the belts on, get the communication system plugged into your helmet, and then get out of harm's way so that the driver can resume back on track and not lose too much ground. All of these little things are vital in terms of losing time, which is valuable in a race like this. See if we've got any information coming through on any of the other channels of communication we've got open up today. We've got WhatsApp, we've got YouTube, we've got Facebook, we've got Instagram, you name it, it's all going out, and people are sending us information from all over throughout the day. I certainly do enjoy as McDonald makes his way back on track. Doug McDonald in the Shelby Can-Am. He put his hand up as we're going into the scenario of safety car. He goes into Potters and gesticulated he was going to be going into pit lane. Trevor Graham still maintains third. He's got to make up 5 laps though. Mercedes got to make up, or Saul Hack's got to make up 7 to get into contention onto the same lap as the 2 leaders. Both Cobras out of the pit lane as well, so Gerald Wright back onto the track in the Wright Motorsport People Group Cobra. Just behind is that Steve Clark now at the wheel, yes, of the Lusso and South Coast one. Down in pit lane, let's go to Gary.
And I think we may just catch up with him now. So no, it's been going well, but strategically it was going to be a long stop, so we decided to get it back to Saul and let him see and push to the end.
Well, if the car can keep up the pace and you guys keep up that pace, there's a pretty good chance you guys can get to the podium.
Well, we can get there. We must just hold luck.
Andre, thank you very much, and thanks for the entertainment.
Thanks so much.
Right, back to you guys in the studio, Greg.
Thanks, Gary, there. Quick little catch-up with Andre Besaidnote after his stint. You can see Honda's had to work hard in that car, despite the modifications that they've done to those cars to make them more driver-friendly in terms of air vents in the car. It still gets very hot in the cockpit. And you have to do a lot of work, that's for sure. That's a nice shot. Real up close and personal for the first time in Potters of the field as it streams through there. With an hour and 16 minutes to go. Chop Sapuka has taken the lead. Greg Walker, the car in problems. With problems, I should say. Unfortunately losing laps here as well as we're getting into it. Trevor Graham will be making up ground. So will Andre Besaidnote and Sol Hack. So will Steve Clark and Jaden Else. And Byron Pretorius. David Kutsiamone Jurgens and Rob Clark. Clark now into the top 10. Bucketless Racing top 3, or 3 cars, all in the top 10. How's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Cobras, 1 GT3 car, 3 saloons, and a sports car. 10 Cobras still fighting out there. As we heard from our good friend Wouter Roos, unfortunately the Golf GTI 8 of Keegan Masters and Daniel Rowe is out. So is Rian Botma's Ligier, who he was piloting with Henk Ladekhan and Wojciech. And then of course we've got Jonathan Thomas making up ground, but he's got a long way behind Doug McDonald. So 16 cars still fighting on track. Still yellow flags waving, so safety car is still a scenario. Brian Martin now at the wheel of the 52 car by the looks of things. No, it's not, it can't be. They haven't come in for a pit stop. Jolion is back in, as the pull beam is now trying to be worked on frantically to try and get it back out there by the Hop Motorsport team. Greg Walker has lost second place. Or has he? Looks like our timing monitor's jumping up and down here pretty dramatically. Walker looked like he'd lost second place, and then all of a sudden Trevor Graham was back in it. I think that was as the lap changed. So they got one more lap to go, and then he'll be able to do that. Yeah, it doesn't know what it's doing there. I think the timing monitor might be on a bit of a blink there, but it's definitely Chop Sapuka leading out as he comes up on a back marker and takes another lap back there on one of the Cobras. In the background, we can pick up on action from the 2 Cobras there. Pesty Racing side by side with Di Matteo Racing as they came out of Cochabana. Watch for that pack of cars there, Daryl. Watch for the orange Cobra if we can, coming into turn 3 or turn 4. Here they come. Orange Cobra fighting hard. Oh, Pesty Racing going at it there with Jaden Else. And right on their tail, you can see, well, in fact, that was the 21 car of Duncan Dos Reis who's there. So the boys from Natal are giving it absolute horns out there. That's good to see. Steve Clark, also another banana boy from Natal. Oh, repair work being done on the 11 car. They've got it back on track. And it's now Owen Bridger at the wheel of that 11 car. Owen Bridger, of course, piloting that car alongside Michael Radloff and Chris Radloff. What a great bit of effort there from them. Yeah, they're 83 laps down, but to take nothing away from the fact that they still want to race. And they still want to give their sponsors their fair due. So because of that, why not? Let's give them another mention. Well done there to Team Flat Out. Greg Walker at the wheel of the pull beam, sitting, waiting, contemplating what could be going wrong or what could be going right if he can get him back out on track. But yeah, a massive thanks to Zenith East London and Port Elizabeth, Industrial Welding Suppliers, Mayfair Gearbox and Diff Services, Eco Tanks, Exim, Ullman's Automotive, Ronnie's Execucar, Platinum Signage, Pro CV and Steering, and Ian's Auto Clinic for the team that have just come back on track. 83 laps down with almost the Nelson mark on the clock. 1 hour, 11 minutes, and nearly 11 seconds to go. So hopefully they can make up a little bit of ground and do just something to redeem themselves. Hack on the inside going through. Pesty Racing going through there as well, finding a way into gate corner just to find a way past Jaden Else. On their tail comes Doug McDonald in the Shelby Can-Am. And you've got, is that now David Kutsia at the wheel, still of the Matteo Racing, yes it is. Gerald Wright onto the back end of Duncan Ross Race, beg your pardon on that one. Duncan Ross Race in that red Cobra. Good move from Chop Sapuka. Getting to the front and now going to try and control things with just over an hour to go. Trevor Graham in the backdraft Roadster has moved up to second place. We've got confirmation of that now. Saul Hack has gone to third, Steve Clark and Rekard Rutzart to fourth and leading Class E. Fifth place is now Greg Walker. So Walker's dropped down to fifth place, having to be pitted and in that box. Reg Erasmus, nice comment, buddy. Listening to the cars from our folks' place up on the hill. Watching here, listening to the cars from up on the hill. Love your work, buddy. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Claire Val pushing hard, trying to make up some ground now as well after the little touch that she had there. And I remember saying that at the wheel of the car that gave her that little tender touch. Coming down into the braking point for turn 4 at gate corner. Look at that. Oh, McDonald out of shape slightly as it's Pesty Racing behind him. They line up properly here. Big Cobra battle in the front end here. Is that Jonathan Thomas still at the wheel of that car? It is. Jonathan Thomas fighting there with David Kutsia and Gerald Wright, and all of a sudden in the mix, the saloon car just behind there is Jaden Else. Jaden Else looking to run with those Cobras and give them a bit of a run for their money if he can. Hour and 9 minutes to go. So a little break in the commentary there, just to go and take a little relief break there, but action continues out on track. And Demateo Racing spinning out down at Cochabana. He's got going again, fortunately. But David Kutsia made a big mistake into Cochabana there. Looks like the back end might be a little bit squirrely as well. There might have been some damage on that car. Gerald Wright goes past on Byron Pretorius to find a way through and get position back, possibly there in Class E. Jonathan Thomas closing in. Let's watch for that red, white and green machine as they come into gate corner. Now there's definitely some problems on this car. Have a look at that. Is there a possible puncture on the car? Let's wait and see. Watching in the back of the car, it seems to be stepping out. Yeah, back left. Back left of the car with a bit of a problem there for David Kutsia. So he'll definitely have to go in a pit lane and possibly require 2 new rear wheels and tyres to be put onto that car. Brendan Kelly's in the house. Thanks, BK, for being here. Appreciate the support, buddy. Coming to join us back in PE Safe and Sound. We'll see you next weekend for sure. Watching the last part of our production now. We've got an hour and 5 minutes to go. We just saw a big moment there for David Kutsia. Possible back tyre issue there. He'll be in pit lane to try and get that sorted out. Looks like problems on the front end of the People Racing Group and Gerald Wright Motorsport car too. Look at that, yeah, definitely locking up down into Cochabana. Lamborghini going through on back markers. Chop Sapuka opening up a big margin now. He's 6 laps ahead of Trevor Graham in the Backdraft Roadster in second. Teammate Brian Martin and Mark McLaughlin will be sitting hoping that everything goes according to plan for them. Demateo Racing, let's have a look at that back left. I think it's the back left that's the problem, yeah. David Kutsia with a puncture. Comes in. Is he going to hand over to Julian Familiaris? Or is it going to be to... Who's getting in that car? I think it is Familiaris that's getting in the car. Franco Matteo there, the Italian stallion, just overseeing the work being done on the back left of the car. Yeah, Julian Familiaris getting into the car now. He'll be taking over the duties for the last hour. Back to track action. Cobras and Besaidenote, or Saul Hack, I should say, at the wheel now of the Team Perfect Circle Bucketless Racing Polo Super Cup GTI. 3 Cobras fighting for the lead of this one. The Pesty Racing Cobra putting the pressure onto the back end now of Gerald Wright. And just behind them, just watching the action unfold. Third of those Cobras, but Wright seems to have a bit of a problem on that left front wheel. Seems to be catching a bit of body rub and a bit of smoke coming out of the tyre there. You have to keep an eye on that one. There it is, another example. Fighting that car. Not fighting for position though. Remember, Wright is trying to make up some ground. He's down in 12th place. And currently in 6th overall for Class E. The Pesty Racing car there, Byron Pretorius, is in 2nd. Looking to try and make up some ground on Steve Clark and Richard Ritz. Back onto the beat straight there for Saul Hack. Taking some more laps back on Cobras. Jonathan Thomas had to come in for a change as well. Don't be too concerned about how much it's going to cost him. One you're going to be concerned, of course, is Demateo Racing. That was a lot longer than what they kind of expected to be in pit lane there for. Familiaris has dropped down to 9th place. And just ahead of Rob Clark in the Mini. In fact, he comes on track just ahead of Rob Clark in the Mini. So not bad timing there from the Dimitar Racing team. Right, Trevor Graham getting out of the car. Mark McLaughlin going to get back in. Big Mark about to go and do some damage. And look to possibly get Saul Hack back again and retake second place. Hack is back up into second place overall. That's where they finished last year in the Team Perfect Circle full sponsored car. This time out, of course, in the customer car. I said Saul Hack's in the car. Saul Hack in second place now. So Hack and Besaidenote in second. And at this point in time, possibly going to be looking to take second place like they did last year. So it's Hack from Trevor Graham, who's handed over to Mike McLaughlin with an hour to go. And Paulie, if I can ask you, let's pull up that top 16, because that's how many cars we've still got circulating at the moment out of the 27 that started. That is your lead car, Chop Sapuka, down towards rifle range. Coming on the inside of Gerald Wright. Shouldn't be too much of an issue there for him. He gets past the Cobra relatively unscathed. And with an hour to go, it's going to be pretty interesting stuff to see how it all finishes up. But let's have a look and see how they stand with Mark McLaughlin getting behind the wheel of the car again and getting back on track. Just ahead there of Rechard Roots, who's also come in for a driver change of Steve Clark. So that is third place, Steve Clark and McLaughlin. So as it stands with an hour to go, we've got Chop Sapuka leading GT3s and overall in the Sudale Motorsport and Inter Africa Mining Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo. Saul Hack is up to second place now for Team Perfect Circle and Bucket List Racing's Class B lead as well. That's second on the road. Steve Clark has just overtaken Mike McLaughlin for honours in terms of the Cobras, but of course they're on two separate classes for the Cobras. Class E and Steve Clark and Rechard Roots are now third, ahead of Mike McLaughlin in fourth place, but he leads out GT5. Barn Pretorius is third in Class E, he's in fifth. Morne Jurgens is fourth in Class E, he's in seventh. Familiaris in eighth, but fifth in Class E. Jaden Als in sixth place is second in Class B. And then you've got Rob Clark leading Class A in ninth place overall, ahead of Greg Walker, who's still stuck in pit lane, hoping to get back on track as soon as possible in the Polbean. Manfred Schroeder up in Class E ahead of Kersey Veyers now, who stepped into that car. Brandon Dean in 14th place, ahead of Doug McDonald. And Jonathan Thomas, the last car circulating still, in 16th place there. And he's just crossed the line as we spoke about him. So the 16 cars still circulating at this point in time, leading things and looking forward to the last hour of action here at the East London Grand Prix circuit. Some of the smoke issues coming out of the car there from Gerald Wright's point of view. So he'll have to be a little bit concerned about that. The People Group and Gerald Wright Motorsport Cobra starting to smoke pretty badly at the front right-hand side of that car. Still body rub on the tyre, I think, but definitely something to be concerned about, possibly with a puncture related. And we've already seen one puncture on the Cobra there coming out of the Dimatara racing car. He's back on track. Owen Bridger starting to make up some ground as well, but not going to be anywhere in contention. He's actually down in 21st place, but if he does finish up, of course he'll finish up in 17th, with the rest of the cars not completing the race action. So he's circulating pretty rapidly, trying to make up some ground there, and of course, having been stuck in pit lane for such a long time, a valiant effort there once again from Team Flat Out. The two Radloff boys going at it there with Owen Bridger, and representing here, of course, the hometown of East London. Saul Hack fighting hard here for honours in the overall classification. Cars coming onto the beach straight. Coming up into 55 minutes to go. France Boshoff, you're asking what happened to the Harp Motorsport car? Well, at this point in time, we're not quite sure. We've just sent Gary down to pit lane to find out what's happening there. There was a bit of an issue with that car, and there's a big issue now on the front end of the Wright Motorsport Cobra, as we saw some big smoke out of that one. But it was in the hands of Greg Walker. Had a problem spinning out into the top end of Beacon. They were able to get the car back into the pit box, but they haven't got the car back on track just yet. So I hope that answers your question. And until we know anything more from that side of things, we will let you know as soon as possible. But nothing that we can do about that at this point in time. And of course, it's dropping by the wayside every lap. Greg Walker, Francis Carruthers, and Yuri Swart are down in 10th place overall, having been the leaders of this race for a good majority. One car there of Jonathan Thomas back into the mix, but a long way down, as he's also had some trouble in the first part of the day's racing. Currently it's Byron Pretorius, that car that we see on the back straight, who leads Class E overall. Sorry, is second place in Class E overall. Keep forgetting about the fact that we've got Steve Clark up the road there. Clark and Richard Rutz leading Class E, third place overall for Clark and Richard Rutz. Is there a possibility of seeing another Cobra from Class E back into the overall podium today? The pull beam's back on. There you go. That'll answer your question there, Franz Boshoff. The pull beam is back on track. Who is at the wheel of that car right now? It's Carruthers. So his lordship is at the wheel of his own car. They're probably going to just circulate for a couple of laps just to make sure whatever the problem is has been sorted out. Amazing bit of driving there from that team early on from Yuri Swart. Greg Walker got in behind the wheel and was going really well. Made a small mistake here in the complex, and then had another big one up at Beacon Corner, which made him have to come in for some repair work. As they go through into the S's and out of the S's. You can see the sun starting to fall out the sky here. It's still 52 minutes of racing to go, and there can be a lot of drama in 52 minutes. That I can tell you. Rob Clark still in the bucketless racing. Mini Cooper S. So, yeah, it's actually a whole new Mini that they built there. It's not the rebuilt one. The one that they broke unfortunately wasn't able to be repaired. They had to find a spare chassis, which they had at Fast Developments, and they put all the pieces and bits and pieces from the original Mini onto that car and did a full redo of a brand new car. And fortunately got it back in time for Rob Clark and his good friend Peter Jenkins to pilot today. And they've done a good job because they've made their way up into 9th place, into single digits from a good start. Top, and now we go back onto the beach straight. In fact, there's a couple of cars we were following and making their way up towards Beacon. Carruthers is out on track. Let's have a look and see if that is actually Carruthers. It says Greg Walker at the wheel, but I don't think it is Walker at the wheel of that pull beam at the moment. It is Francois Carruthers who's taken over. We've got an interview down in pit lane though, so let's go down to Gary.
Right. Greg, we managed to catch up with you. You were in there. The guys were sitting in the lead and second, up and down, up and down. And suddenly you had a very long pit stop. Tell us what happened.
The fuel pressure disappeared, Gary. We have no idea why. The car was going so well. Uncle did a stunning job in the first stint. And a little bit ragged at first, but settled down. And then fuel pressure disappeared and had a bit of a problem there.
It's a bit of a sad issue because you guys are sitting pretty good for a podium position there.
Yeah, very disappointing for the team. All the guys put so much effort into it, and it's mud racing, I guess. Yeah. And we're going to do what we can to try and salvage something. We have a bit of time more to go, and hope Francis just pulls the pin a little bit and try and make some places up.
Greg, thank you very much. Appreciate you having a chat with us. And all the best for the rest of the race. Thank you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Gary.
So back to live action there. Good little comment from Greg Walker. And also just confirming that the timing monitor is slightly out. It's not Greg Walker at the wheel of the pull beam right now. It's Francois Carruthers who's now jumped into that car. Nice to see that car. That's a really cool car to keep an eye on for a little while there, Gary. That Daryl. That, of course, is the Team Flat Out car here from East London itself. And after 75 laps of no action, they were able to get back on track. So a valiant effort being put in there by the two Radloff boys. And, of course, now being piloted by their good friend Owen Bridger. Bridger actually used to race Supermoto against me and then became synonymous with a very fast Honda Type R Civic production car in production cars as well. So certainly knows his way around the circuit and spent a bit of time at the East London Grand Prix circuit on both 2 wheels and 4 wheels. And a man who's done a lot of laps around here in his career is Chop Sapuka, currently leading by 6 laps over Saul Hack and Andre Besaidnout. So Saul Hack and Besaidnout still with a lap in hand over Steve Clark and Richard Ritz. And looks like there's going to be a lap and another 30 seconds or so over Mike McLaughlin in the backdraft Roadster. That's a pity to see down in pit lane. We've got a little bit of issue there for McDonald. In fact, that is Flashman Finneran, I think, is going to be going out there for the last part if they can get the car sorted. Mention the fact once again, if you've just joined us and you didn't hear earlier on, young man behind the wheel of that Shelby Can-Am is an autistic man. So loving life and getting an opportunity to still participate in motorsport despite his, I wouldn't say issue in life, but the problem that he has. And it's not really a big problem if you can learn to live with it and get around it. Autism can actually be a blessing in disguise as well. Big fight on here. Morné Jurgens all over the back end of Steve Clark. It's a nice little fight there, possibly for position as well. But Clark a little bit higher up the road than what Jurgens is, so he doesn't have to fight too hard for that one. Hack on the back straight, on the beat straight. That's McLaughlin behind him. You can tell by the big flame coming out of the red Cobra. Pesty Racing, second place Cobra. Byron Pretorius behind the wheel of that one. Jonathan Thomas down in 16th place still. Just trying to make up as much ground as he can over the next 46 minutes. Big ball dropping out of the sky here and shadows starting to be cast across the circuit. Driver changes need to have been done now, that's for sure, to get them through the last hour. Hopefully no more driver changes required. One thing we do need to take into account right now is Chop Sapuka completes another lap in anger. Here's the fatigue factor. The concentration levels are going to be right up there. Starts to affect the body in terms of your concentration and taking the fatigue out of your body at the same time. Plus the fitness levels of some of these drivers. Those are starting to be questioned here as well at this point of the race. Not a lot of men more fit than that man. Nice drive there from the 16 car. Definitely a man to watch out for in terms of fitness is Brandon Dean. He's never spent a day in the gym in his life, if you see the size of him. Never ever. Well, there goes the Auto Investments Ligier being rolled out of pit lane and back to the truck to be transported back up to Johannesburg. Big league to lose them early on in the day's racing. Corolla's now trying to make up the ground, as much ground as he can, using the Pilbeam's additional speed over the Cobras and a couple of the saloon cars out there. Maybe can possibly get back into single digits by the end of this one. Oh, Stevie Clark a bit sideways out of the S. Doesn't want to be making mistakes like that too often. As I said, concentration levels are at their peak at the moment. Fatigue is starting to be felt, and little mistakes like that can be made. Just putting a wheel on the dirt that could have ended up in a lot worse for wear than what it did. Chop Sapuka has done an incredible job with Zolile Letlaka here, considering the fact that they started this race with a damaged motor car. Now led almost, I'd say, probably about 70% of this race. Now looking to just bring it home. What a welcome back to motorsport it would be if Letlaka and Sapuka can take this victory. But there's still 44 minutes of race action to come your way. Mandla Ndakani is in the house, giving us a let's go Chops. Young man, of course, also piloted a Mini Cooper in his day, so he'll love the fact that we've got a Cooper on track. But now part and parcel of the global touring car team, and spends most of his time on racetracks in a Team Gazoo Racing Toyota Corolla. And he will be in action next weekend, just down the road, in the Aldo Scribanti circuit in Port Elizabeth, or Koberga, as it's now known. Looking forward to that one, I'm sure, Mandla, but thanks for the support, buddy. And I'm sure Chops will love the support that you're getting from the sideline from him as well. What happened to Gary Murray? I see Quentin Schwartz asking, unfortunately, right at the start of the race. The Murray Cobra gave up the ghost. I think it might have been an engine issue. He wasn't able to get back on track, and that's why we don't have Gary Murray on track. So we're going to look to see who is the driver in the Mini at the moment. The driver in the Mini at the moment is Rob Clark. He spends most of his time in the historic and inland championship piloting a Citroen 1200 CV up in Johannesburg. That's who you're asking, Carol. Hope that answers your question. Melissa Boysons is saying go Jaden Else. What do we got there as well? We've got Flashman Finneran also getting some love out there. That's okay. Tammy Porkita also saying go Flashman, loving life. And Ronald Ferreira saying go Jaden, and Chris Pretorius. How's this little fight though? Here we go. Let's start to hit these Cobras up a little bit, shall we? Outside from Clairval, around the outside of the Pesty Racing Cobra. Clairval using her drifting experience there. Well, that's not Claire, I beg your pardon, that is Kusi Veyers. Just looking at the wrong coloured black machine there, but the black Cobra and Kusi Veyers went around the high side and looked for a chance to get through on the Pesty Racing car. So Kusi Veyers is not holding back here and looking to try and get his machine, and of course his his two partners, Robin and Steven Krill, back up into the top 10. Some incredible driving coming out of Kusiva's out of the complex. Not a lot of guys will have what it takes to go around the outside of the first part of the S's. And he made it stick. Cobra's going back into gate. And Cobras are pushing hard ahead of Saul Hack. He's still looking for a second place overall here. McLaughlin still down in fourth place behind Hack. He's not going to make up that ground. Not at the moment, because he's lapping in the 130. In fact, McLaughlin lapping in the 334s there. His best laps are 128. So he must have been in the pit lane again. A couple of Cobras running wide there down the beach straight. Coming into gate corner. Battle continues here. Kusi Veas going at it with Pesty Racing's Barent Pretorius. And again around the outside. No, in fact, that's not Barent. Sorry, similar colours. And then the dying light there, that red car looked like the orange car, but it was actually the 21 car of Duncan Dos Reis. So here's a back marker giving up some room there to the big battle that's ensuing between three Cobras on track. Lights ablaze now. You can see those lights starting to get a little bit of flare on them right now as Sapuka comes down the beach straight again into gate corner. 106 laps completed, going to 107 at the end of this one. Solak and Besaidnote, 100 laps completed, 101 by the time they finish this one, and Steve Clark will be up to 100 laps completed. "39 minutes to go." Paul Beam also starting to make up some ground now. Walker coming onto the back of Jaden Else and Steve Clark. Jonathan Thomas, Cobra's been back into the pit lane again for another change. Mistake there from the Alpha, putting a wheel on the dirt. He was just trying to avoid the Foster car coming through there. What's the focus? Going into gate corner. Jaden ahead of Steve Clark, ahead of Chop Sapuka. Six laps completed now in this race, with Chop Sapuka at the head. Make that 107 as he slots through to complete another lap there. Looks like something's gone wrong with our timing as well. Not sure why. Just want to see if there's any change there. No, definitely a problem on the timing monitor here, Paulie. I'm not quite sure what's gone down. Seems to have frozen. So I said 107 laps 2 laps ago, so it should be on 109. Here is Sapuka onto the back end of Francis Carruthers. Carruthers moving out of the way, going to give Sapuka a little bit of room. Yeah, 122. This one says 106, so maybe just give this a little reboot here. And refresh it quickly. There we go. A little refresh required there on all of our equipment right the way through. 122 laps actually completed by Chop Sapuka, so apologies for that to the Stradale team. 115 laps completed by Saul Hack, 114 by Mark McLaughlin, And it looks like the battle for second place might start to heat up here as McLaughlin tries to close things down on Saul Hack. 13 for Steve Clark. As another Cobra comes in. The Mini's in as well. So it looks like Rob Clark's going to give Peter Jenkins the opportunity to finish this one up. Lead car coming in. Yes, here we go. And a driver change. Kind of expected this though. Shidale Motorsport going to be handing Chop Sapuka. Phenomenal effort there from him, and you can see a high five there from his teammate Zolila Letlaka. So Sapuka will get out the car. Letlaka will get back into the car to finish up the day's proceedings. Big effort there being put in by the team. Chops will be very happy to be part of this very professional outfit. The Mini goes back out on track. And possibly in the hands of Peter Jenkins now. Was that just a splash and dash there for the Mini team, just to make sure that they've got some additional fluid in the car and some fuel? Charles Orangi's helping his teammate get strapped in. Paul Beam now going well with Francis Carruthers at the wheel. He's loving life in his own car. Looking to possibly get into single digits or the top 10 if possible. Since they've sorted out that issue, seems to not be putting a wheel wrong at that point. We'll fight here between Clarkey and it is Rob Clark still. So Rob Clark stayed behind the wheel of the Mini. I think he just came in for a splash and dash to make sure that there's enough fuel in the car to get them to the end after 34 minutes left to go. Chop Sapuka now changes to Zolile Letlaka, and he'll be piloting that Lamborghini to the end of the race and hopefully going to bring it to a victory. That's what they're hoping for. Is that Jaden Else under a bit of threat? It is, but soaking it up. Not too concerned. Steve Clark on his tail. The Luso Cafe Cobra. Hack continues to circulate in second place overall. Got a lap on McLaughlin still, so just got to keep it all together and could potentially still finish up second overall as they did last year in the original Team Perfect Circle car. Hang on a second, that looked familiar. Mini and a Cobra coming together nearly. That could have ended up in tears again, but I think that was just Rob Clark getting out of the way of McLaughlin trying to make his way through to catch Saul Hack up in second place. Onto the beach straight again for the Alfa Romeo. And there is Zolile Letlaka coming down into Cochabana. Lead car with a 6-lap advantage over Andre Besaidnout and Saul Hack. Cobra slowing and getting out of harm's way there. I think realizing that there's a big battle coming through there. It was the 21 car of Manfred Schroeder getting out of the way there as the pull beam goes up the inside into Potter's Pass. Familiaris now at the wheel of the Damato Racing Cobra. Followed closely there by Saul Hack and Morne Jurgens. See what I was saying, when Morna Jurgen's got a very similar helmet design to Jean Alesi. Silver, red and black stripes on it. Or red and blue stripes, I beg your pardon. Pull beam into gate. So we're looking at almost half an hour to go. 31 minutes and some change. I'm going to give you a little heads up as to exactly how things stand with half an hour in about a minute's time. So guys still working down in pit lane, just ensuring. Oh, is there a safety car? Yes, safety car board has been deployed, and safety car is about to be deployed. Not quite sure why. I just saw in the foreground of that shot the safety car board being held up and double yellows being waved down into Copacabana. So let's have a look and see if anybody of concern in the top 3 or 4 are affected by the safety car. Corbin was there. There goes McLaughlin for 3rd place. The safety car now has been deployed. I'm not quite sure where it is or what the incident has been caused, but that is called for the safety car. See cars having to slow down now. It's down at Copacabana. A little camera 2 taking big strain now in the lack of light. The dark is definitely starting to affect its ability, but we will power through to get it to the end. It's one of our locked off cameras, of course. It's not a manned camera there, so we can't do anything much more than what we've got right there for camera 2. We've got half an hour to go, Paulie, so let's put the results up while we're on the safety car. We'll see if anything comes up there if we can. Because Zolila Letlaka leads out ahead of Saul Hack, Mike McLaughlin, Steve Clark, Warren Pretorius, Jaden Alson, Morna Jurgens, and David Kutsia ahead of Rob Clark and Carruthers. Classes, it's GT3 at the lead. 2nd place and leading Class B, Hack. GT5 and 3rd place, McLaughlin. Leading Class E is Steve Clark ahead of Warren Pretorius and Morna Jurgens. That's why Morna Jurgens was pushing so hard. Jaden Nelson's up into 2nd place for the 2nd of the bucket list racing cars there for Alfa Romeo Giulietta. And then, of course, it's Rob Clark in the 3rd bucket list racing car, up into 9th place overall, but leading Class A. Carruthers leads Class T, but he's down in 10th, and he's got some work to do to make up the 2 laps that he needs to get back into single figures over the next half an hour. Yeah, under yellow, I'm just trying to pick up and see who could possibly be in trouble out there as they all start to concertina up. Okay, none of the first 5 cars have been affected by that, so just trying to pick up as to who could possibly be in harm's way that's called for the safety car, or being the reason for the safety car being called for, I should say. Course car has gone out of Copacabana. P-Series Bucky from GWM Edenval. Was it? Yeah, it was Morna Jurgens, I think. Jurgens probably had the problem there. And that is the red car going back on track there, of either Duncan Dos Reis or Manfred Schroeder. So it possibly was the 4 car of Morna Jurgens looking to get through. He's still in 3rd place according to the timing monitor of Class E, and still sits in 7th overall on track. So we want to give a massive thanks, of course, to all of our sponsors here for the day, for bringing the race action to you. And of course, it is the Buffalo City 700, courtesy of Bigfoot Express Freight, and Toys R Us helping us out over that side of things. But of course, helping us out today from a data point of view was Link Online, specializing in broadband connectivity, network management, and hardware and software, basically anything that's IT related. And you can get them on www.linkonline.co.za. Thanks to them for the data provided for our live stream today. And And we hope that we can do more of the same and keep up the work we've been doing on the product we've been supplying here for the South African Endurance Series, as well as the South African GT Racing Association in their 2 races of the day. Morne Jenkins is definitely the culprit there. He's been into pit lane, possibly with a bit of a broken exhaust pipe on the side of that car as well, and would have duct taped that up to try and get him to the end of the race. He's still in contention for a top 3 in Class E, which is why they've had to work so frantically hard to get that car back on track. There are the 16 cars that are still fighting for honours here in the second round of the South African Endurance Series. All line astern besides 2, and they are about to make their way onto that beat straight in the background. Carruthers, McLaughlin, Rob Clark, who is in the pilot seat now of Owen Bridges' car. Could possibly be Chris Radloff. Yeah, Chris Radloff into the driver's seat of the Team Flat Out car. There is Jenkins, and there is Baron Pretorius. Behind them is the 6 car of Kursi Veyers. So yeah, still 16 cars circulating and attempting to get to the end of this one. In fact, 17, because we do have, of course, Chris Radloff's car, who's retaken the 17th position officially now and moved up ahead of the retired Rian Botma, Keegan Masters, and Daniel Rowe. The Vol Porsche was not a retirement. That was, of course, only for the hour. He stayed out for an extra half an hour. They'd have some fun with it, boys. We are back up and racing with 25 minutes to go. Glenton Robello and Arnold Neveling and Charles Orangi's out early on. Gary Murray and Zane Pierce also out in the very early stages of the day's racing today. So back up and trucking now for the next 24 and a half minutes or so. And that'll bring us to the end of round 2 of the South African Endurance Series here at East London Grand Prix Circuit on the east coast of South Africa. If you've joined us from all around the world, a big welcome to you. You've joined us for the last 25 minutes or so of action in round 2 of the South African Endurance Series. Safety car was deployed a lap ago. It's gone back in, and of course you can see with the concertina effect now, there's some positions to be jostled and some fighting to happen. Team Block Coin back in the race. Yes, let's go Flashman Finneran. He is back in. Tammy Potgieter, you are 100% right. And it looks like the 29 car there up into 16th place, just ahead of the Radloff car. The problem you got right now after a situation behind the safety car is that everybody is back at each other's throats and are going to be fighting hard to try and make up some ground or possibly spoil the day for their competitors and friends and foes out there. It's Letlaka who leads out overall. Solhack in second place and leading Class B. McLaughlin leading Class GT5 and third place overall. Carruthers in the pull beam now with clean air. Let's see what that pull beam can do with clean air and no one to fight with. He leads on the road, but he's down in 10th place overall. But Solile Letlaka is right behind him. Darren Winterboer is in the house. Thanks, buddy, for joining us there. Team Bucket List. Of course, he was in one of the Team Bucket List cars and has spent a lot of time with fast developments with his own big machines that he pilots around the country and, of course, all the way from Zimbabwe. Joining us for some of the action here in the closing stages. Thanks for your support, bud. We appreciate that. The Bulawayo Bomber, Darren Winterboer. So some chopping and changing, as I said, in the background there, trying to make up some ground. McLaughlin running onto the dirt ever so slightly there. That was a bit of a concern. Big Cobra. And it was right in front of the man he's trying to catch, Saul Hack. Hack will be looking at that going, yeah, keep doing that, bud. We got no worries with that. You can go off as many times as you want. It's going to help me out huge. Hack closes on the back end of the Backdraft Roadster, who's closing on the back end there of Brandon Dean. Dean down in 13th overall. It's a great shot of the pack of Cobras. It's a whole nest of them flying through. The sun has dropped behind the skyline and we're into dusk. With 21 minutes to go, it's just going to get darker and darker and making our lives a little bit more difficult out there. One car we won't be able to fail to miss, of course, is the right-hand headlight of the only headlight in that car. of Saul Hack. T-Perfect Circle and Bucketless Racing's Super Cup Polo. Bit of dust down the back straight there as well. That's down the main straight, of course. That's being caused by the cars leaving the public road on the right-hand side of the circuit. Headlights starting to flare out big time now. From our camera 2 back to camera 3 now as they go into gate corner. Leclerc has closed on Carruthers, slightly quicker than Francis, I think. But Carruthers certainly going to make his life a little bit more difficult if he has to. Shouldn't be too much of an issue though for the Lambo to get through. Look at that, light flares down the beach straight. Most of them are Cobras. A couple of other cars thrown into the mix though. It's the Alpha Giulietta in the middle of that pack of Cobras as it went down the beach straight. 5 Cobras, then Alpha Giulietta, and then we go to another 5 Cobras. Kersey looking for a way through. Can he find it on Brandon Dean? Moving around the outside of the exit of the S's. Behind him, Steve Clark and the Alpha Giulietta. Leclerc has not got through yet. He's going to be wary about that. I'm sure the radio is going to be telling him, don't push it. We've got a massive lead over that car. You don't have to fight with that car. Let's just bring it to the line and finish up the day. The day is almost finished in terms of light availability, that's for sure. Warren Pretorius crosses the line, still down in 6th place in the Pesty Racing car. Super run from those guys, looking for a top 3 overall in Class E if they can keep it together. Oh, looks like the People Group and Gerald Wright Motorsport Cobra back on track as well. Where did they drop down to? Gerald Wright's in 14th place. A little bit of off-track excursion again. Was that McLaughlin? Yes, it was. McLaughlin has run off the track again, putting a wheel on the dirt. It looks like Saul Hack has taken a lap back on him, so yes. We've got 2 laps in hand there for Saul Hack on Mike McLaughlin now. McLaughlin under a bit of pressure there from Jonathan Thomas, looking for a way through. Behind that, it's Brandon Dean. Then you've got Jaden Else. Jaden Else up into the top 5 for Bucketless Racing. Warner Jurgens closes in on Steve Clark. Oh, and Wright on the left-hand side. That's Gerald Wright. And is that a problem for going to possibly be another safety car here if they can't get that car going? Let's see if Gerald Wright gets it going and possibly don't have to worry about a safety car. Hopefully that's the case. Time's running out, laps are ticking by. Yep, safety car deployed. Kind of expected that one. T-Series Bucky making its way down to the exit of the S's. You can pass the course car. You can't pass the safety car. And Warren Pretorius needs to be told about that. He's going to definitely be told about it on the radio if they've got some communication to him. That's the reason for the safety car. No, not the beautiful scenery and the great surf conditions that we've got off the bay, but the fact that we've got People Group and Gerald Wright stuck on the left-hand side of the exit of the S's. I don't know if some of these cars have seen the safety car boards. The dying light, it's going to be very difficult to spot them. So Lilo will have to now stay behind the pull beam. He's not going to be able to overtake with the double yellows and safety car boards out on track. 17 minutes and 20 seconds to go, and safety car has been deployed. Thank you so much for the kind words there, Brendan Kelly. I do appreciate that. Little kudos being shown there to Paul Bedford and Daryl Kukard. Came out wrong there. From Brendan Kelly, as well as the cameramen around the circuit. Yeah, we've got a couple of cameramen out on circuit, but we've also got a couple of still cameras out there too. But thanks for being part of the team today, Brendan. We appreciate it. And we're looking forward to getting down to your town next weekend for National Championship Extreme Festival action. And 16 and a half minutes to go for this race. Everybody having to just take it easy now. Safety car. Light flare there on this camera as well. We're going to have to watch the focus on this camera, please, Paulie, if we can, on camera 2. It's gone a little bit out there, but we've got to recovering. It's very dark down there, we know. Try and get it the best we can. And Riddle getting the car back to the pit lane. Hopefully enough time for Gerald Wright to get it sorted out, because remember, in order to be classified in this event, you have to cross the finish line, and we've got 15 minutes, so they've got 10 minutes to get that car back on track if they want to be classified. Gerald Wright, Dean Wilson and Philip Mayer will be working frantically to get that car back on track before the 5-minute to go board comes out and pit lane closes. $15 cars making their way down to Rifle and Cocabana. The 16th car is being towed in by the P Series Bucky from GWM Edenvale. As I said, Gerald Wright, Dean Wilson and Philip Mayer will be looking to get that car out within the next 9 minutes or so before they have to shut pit lane and get stuck in the pit lane, which will mean they will not be classified. In order to be classified according to the rules for this series, you have to cross the line and take the checkered flag. And that way you'll be classified as a finisher. Gary Murray, Zane Pierce, Arnie Neveling and Charles Orangis, Glenton Rebello and Anton, Keegan Masters and Daniel Rowe, Rion Portma and his team. And of course those are the teams that have unfortunately had to pull out due to technical issues or some problems on their cars. Car coming down into pit lane. We're going to try and get some action down in the pit lane as well. Following behind the Oval Jolion, courtesy of Oval Inval, our sponsors for the day for the safety car and the pace car. And the course car, of course, also coming out of that stable from GWM and Oval in Edenvale. Big support from Roy Aubrey, who of course won the hour endurance race here today in his Porsche. Pink sky at night is Shepherd's delight, is what they say. Hopefully the Shepherds are going to be smiling on a couple of these cars with 12 minutes to go. Do we have racing again? We do. Drop the hammer and let's get it done now for the next 12 minutes. It's McDonald who leads things out. Watch out for an overtaking opportunity down into turn 1. Potter's Pass coming from Carruthers as Carruthers looks on the inside. So Lila Letlaka climbs on the brakes going into turn 1 and gets up the inside of Rob Clark in the Mini. Very lucky there as they went through. You can see the concertina effect makes it a bit more difficult for these guys now. And this is where concentration levels have to be at their utmost. It's the dying light, it's the fatigue that comes in. We spoke about it earlier on, but it's even more so now with almost 10 to go. And with the pull beam closing now on McDonald. Doug McDonald is at the wheel of his car. Yes, he is. Behind him comes the pull beam of Francis Carruthers. He gets through on the Shelby Can-Am, and then Letlaka in the Lamborghini, followed by the first of the saloon cars, and second place overall, Saul Hack. So looking good at this point in time. Then the big pack of Cobras, the whole nest of them coming through there. The Mini's in the middle of them. He wants to stay out of harm's way. If Rob Clark is clever, he's going to do that. Same thing can be said there for Jaden Else, as he's under attack now from Familiaris. Julian Familiaris trying to make up a little bit of ground, but of course Familiaris will just take a little bit of time out of the car, but it won't be position on track that he's fighting there with Jaden Else for. Jaden a little bit higher up in 5th place. Familiaris down in 8th place there for Dimitar Racing. Gerald Wright's car is in pit lane. Is it about to come out? Looks like it started to circulate to get back out on track. Let's wait and see if that's the case. You can hear it going through slowly. Waiting for a chance for an opportunity to get back on track, and I think they're about to send him on his way. Two Cobras side by side towards Potters. It's Familiaris on the inside of the Pesty Racing car of Byron Pretorius. So taking a lap back there on them. There goes Gerald Wright's Wright Motorsport and People Group Cobra back into the fray. So this is the way things are going to finish up at this point in time by the looks of it. Can we just keep it all on track and hopefully have no more safety cars with 10 minutes and a little bit of change left to go. Zolile Letlaka and Chop Sapuka looking to make history here today. Going down the field into the Cobras, the battles continue. Pesty Racing's Byron Pretorius trying to find a way through there on the 21 car of Manfred Schroeder. Right, coming into the closing stages now. We're into single-digit minutes left to go. 9 minutes to go. The fight has been for single digits all day long. To get into that top 10 shows the kind of prowess you have as a driver and team. An amazing effort being put in by a lot of teams out there. With 10 minutes to go, Zolile Letlaka leads out TT3s and overall. Saul Hack leads out Class B and 2nd overall. TT5 is Mike McLaughlin and 3rd overall. Class E's leader is Steve Clark and 4th overall. Ahead of Byron Pretorius and Mornay Jurgens for the top 3 in Class E. Jaden Al splits them though in Class B and leads in Class B with 6th place overall. He's in the Alfa Romeo Giulietta. Then you've got Julian Familiaris and Francis Carruthers now into single digits. They're in 9th place ahead of Manfred Schroeder. Quisiva is up to 12th after a long stint off the circuit for him, Stian and Robin. Brandon Dean in 13th. Gerald Wright, who we've just seen come into pit lane, still maintains 14th place ahead of the hard-charging Jonathan Thomas. And Doug McDonald now drops down into 16th place. And the last car on track. It's 10 minutes to go, or just under 10 minutes to go in this one. Absolutely brilliant race action, some high drama all day long as well in this second round of the South African Endurance Racing Series. Gerald Wright just looking to bring that car to the line and finish up, get some points in the bag. Long way to go in the season. We go from here in the middle of July, 17th of July, we go to Swartkops. August, we head down to Port Elizabeth. We come back to the East Cape in October for race action here in East London. And we finish off the season in Cape Town with the Cape Town and Killarney International Raceway and the 9 hour at Killarney International Raceway. So as I said, lots of race action still to happen in this championship. So right now, that is what you need to be thinking about. Consolidation of wherever you are. There's not going to be many changes in positions right now because those positions being fought for on track are now literally sorted out. Survival is crucial. And with 6.5 minutes to go. Are there any more little twists in the fate? 1.5 minutes to go before they shut pit lane. So if anybody is down in the pit lane right now, they have got 1 minute and 26 seconds to go before that pit closes and you get stuck in pit lane. That means you will not be classified because you have to take the line and the checkered flag to be classified in this series. So if there are any cars down in the pit lane right now, they'll be concerned about getting those cars out within the next minute. Heading down into the complex again with the pull beam of Carruthers. Getting through on some of the back marker Cobras. Just trying to get that car also to get to the end. Oh, Gerald Wright out of shape. Coming out of the first part of the S's. You can see he's battling with handling on that car as Letlaka comes up on the back end of him. The leader about to pass the man who gave us a little bit of issues with the car parked on the sideline with only a couple of laps to go. 30 seconds before pit lane closes. That is Morné Jurgens. Also had some problems. Went off the track. Had to also be called into the pit for a bit of repair work. He's been closed down by Familiaris. That's a good battle. Julian Familiaris can see Morné Jurgens ahead of him. Possibility of a change up between 6th and 7th place. There is the pit lane closed. So we have no more cars allowed out of pit lane now. If you're stuck in pit lane, that will be the end of your race. Four and a half minutes to go. Can you believe that? You wouldn't say that after 4 hours of racing. And the drama and excitement we've had today at the South African Endurance Series. And some top quality race action out there today, that is for sure. Some incredible race strategies being put together by these teams today. And what an effort. There's a very good possibility we're about to see history in the making. We've still got 4 minutes to go before we can say that. Cameras are battling right now. And really taking a bit of strain to pick up on the cars and the light flares that are cars out on track. Our man camera is of course a little bit easier to work with, but there goes Letlaka down into Potter's Pass for possibly the penultimate time. They're currently lapping in 1:35, so yeah, this will probably be the penultimate lap that he's on. Saul Hack's right behind him, so it could be formation flying for first and second place on track. They are first and second on the road down towards Cochabana. Coughlin's Cobra still in third place in GT5 SA's leading car. Steve Clark leads out. Still in with a chance of the win for Class E. Warren Pretorius is second. Third place is Jurgens. Familiaris was on his tail. If we can spot that battle in the dying light, we'll try and pick up on it, because Familiaris was all over the back end of Morné Jurgens. It's the red, white and green Cobra versus the black Cobra. Daryl, if you do find it. It's the last fight on track, and it's for 6th and 7th place. I'm not quite sure where they are, but if we do spot them, that's definitely one we want to be watching out for. Is that a car pulling to the side? Probably Gerald Wright, out of harm's way. We've got a car on the side of the track there, definitely. And as they come down into gate corner again, it's a pack of Cobras. That one is Chris Radloff there. That's McLaughlin. There it is. That's Morné Jurgens just ahead. And there is Julian Familiaris. So that's the pack we want to see right to the end if we can. But of course, also keeping an eye out on Letlaka, who possibly started his last lap. It may be 2 because it was 2 minutes to go. And they're currently lapping in the 1:40. So he's probably going to have to do another 2 laps here. Let's have a look. Yeah. Well, the checkered flag is being put on standby, so I think he's possibly on his last lap. Let's have a look and see. There goes the Alfa Romeo Giulietta of Jaden Nels. What a drive there from that young man. First time in an endurance race as part of Bucket List Racing, partnering up with Chris Pretorius, and the two of them have brought that car into the top 6. They're going to take second place in Class B, but it'll be Bucket List Racing cars in the top 10, all 3 of them in the top 10. Good effort there from Freddie Pretorius and the Fast Development team, and Chris Budnick and his Bucket List Racing team. Stand by possibly for checkered flag, because we've got a minute to go, and I don't know where Zolile is. Zolile is there coming out of the complex. He's got 56 seconds to go. He's giving way there to Kusi Vaz to go around his outside. Kusi Vaz trying to make up a little bit of ground there, right in even in the last part of the race. I'm not sure if that checkered flag's going to come out. There's still 45 seconds to go. It's not going to take him 45 seconds to get to the line, so he may still have to do one more lap. Might just slow the car down though and tell him to just take it easy to get him there. Flag is waiting. Let's see whether or not the flag comes out. They're waiting for the Lamborghini of Zolile Tlaka and Chop Sapuka. Hack starts another lap. One more lap to go. They didn't quite get there. I didn't think so. They've got to complete one more lap. There were 13 seconds to go for the 25 car of Zolile Tlaka and Chop Sapuka. So 1 to go there for them. They didn't quite make that exactly on the 4-hour mark. So it's going to be 4 hours are up. They are done and dusted. But Zolile Tlaka will have to do one more lap to get to that checkered flag. That's how endurance racing works though. Right, so as you can see, our unmanned cameras are starting to take huge strain right now to bring us the shots that you're seeing. Our manned camera's down, of course, here, a little bit easier. Good job here from camera 3 as he watches Saul Hack come through the complex for the last time. Zolile Tlaka just behind him. Got to tell you something, ladies and gents. If you're standing on the sideline, if you're listening on FM, and you're watching all around the world on our Facebook and YouTube live stream feeds, history in South African motorsport is about to be made. Zolile Tlaka and Chop Sapuka are about to become the first men of color to win a South African Endurance Race Championship. And what a way to go. Here at Chop Sapuka's home circuit, partnering up with the Stradale Motorsport team, partnering up with Zolile Tlaka from Into Africa Mining. And you can see the Alpha is just taking it real easy. Jaden does not want to give away any opportunity of losing the position he's in. He's waiting for Tlaka. Has he run out of fuel? Jaden is going to just squeeze through here, trying to get that car across the line. And coming to the checkered flag, the Lamborghini is going to take the victory. Stradale Motorsport takes the win. Double checkered flags there for the Lambo. Saul Hack comes in behind him. That's second place for Saul Hack. A second year running there for Hack and Besaid Note. McLaughlin comes through for third place. Steve Clark will be fourth. Byron Pretorius will finish up in fifth place, beating out Jaden Nels, who's just got across the line. And well done to the Bucket List Racing team there for all 3 cars in the top 10 for Team Bucket List Racing. Seventh place was Morne Jurgens, Julian Familiaris in 8th place, and Carruthers in 9th. After having a little stint at the front end. A little off-track excursion there in the closing stages for a man further down there. Of course, that is the 21 car of Manfred Schroeder, who's gone off at the complex. You can see it just in the background of our superimposed final position. So quickly run through the final positions before I head down to give you the last part of the day's racing and the winners' interviews. Zolile Tlaka and Chop Sapuka take the overall win in round 2 of the South African Endurance Series here. It's the Buffalo City 700 4-hour endurance race, and they win out GT3 as well. Saul Hack comes through for second place with Andre Besaid Note, his teammate, to win Class B and second overall. Mike McLaughlin and the Backdraft Cobras will be happy with the fact that GT5 and third place overall has gone the way of McLaughlin, Trevor Graham, and Brian Martin. Steve Clark and Richard Roots win out Class E, beating Byron Pretorius to the line and Morne Jurgens for the top 3 in Class E. Jaden Else comes through with Chris Pretorius as his teammate for second place in Class B. And then it's Julian Familiaris who beats out Francis Carruthers and Rob Clark. Clark takes Class A, Carruthers taking Class T. I'll be back in a few seconds' time. I'm just going to make my way down to the final podium area and, of course, get the drivers' interviews and do a final wrap down there. Well, Chopsy, while he's taking his helmet off, incredible effort from the team considering the fact that you guys had a damaged car to start with and you managed to nurse it through and in fact attack in the end.
It's incredible. The team has just done a phenomenal job and I think without them we couldn't have made it this far. It's amazing how Colin has just recovered from that stint and came through.
I certainly did actually.
It's unbelievable.
Well, Zolile, if we can just get you in here, I know you're getting some heads up there. Let's get XO in here. Yeah, I can see. XO, I just want to reiterate what I just said to Chops there. This is history in the making, bud. You guys have become the first men of colour to win a South African endurance race in South African motorsport. How's that feel?
I'm quite emotional. This has been something that I've always dreamt about, to bring inclusiveness in the game. And for me and this man to do it in our home ground, it will give hope to many to come. I'm so happy today.
There is no doubt about that. That is exactly what you said at the first round at Desi, saying, you know, how we want to bring the sport into a fully inclusive sport, and that's exactly what we've shown what can be done here today.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks to this guy. Thanks that we did it here. I am lost for words. I'm okay. Really emotional right now.
We'll leave you to it and enjoy the spoils there. Well done, Chopsy. Well done, Zolile. Right, let's move across here and catch up with a man taking photos of his own car. And what an incredible effort. Saul, where are you running to? Oh, Hack's gone for a run.
Extra jacket. You have to wee.
Okay. Yeah, he did a little bit of a longer stint than what was expected, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what happened was that the pull beam came in. It had a spin. And at that moment, we just made a call to say there's an hour and 20 minutes left and let's get Saul in the car. And we put him in the car and that's it. We came to second. Can you believe it? Again, but I mean, to be beaten by these two guys, I think this is history being made.
It is. It's history in the making. First time ever.
Yeah, nobody ever, and our biggest compliments to them. I mean, Chops, can you believe he was gone for 9 years? It feels like yesterday. And Zolile drove like a pro. So no, they did absolutely brilliant. But how's my teammate?
Saul Hack, right, I'm going to say, you know, when you take the experience that both you and Andre have had, what Chops Sapuka's had, the guys behind you have had, and you look at what Zolile has been able to do today, take nothing away from the efforts you guys put in as Team Perfect Circle and Bucket List Racing. What an effort there from that team.
No, it's amazing. I mean, these cars, how beautiful these cars, and you can see how lacquer they look on track. And I mean, all they had to do was keep it on the track and do their job, and that's what they did. So it's fantastic.
Well, you guys certainly did a great job as well, because not only did you guys finish up second for Team Bucket List, but Bucket List Racing, your teammates today, all three cars in the top 10.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. We were actually talking about it on the radio the last 20 minutes, saying where's everyone in the team, and I think it was 2, 5, and 9 or something like that. So,
Yes.
I mean, that's
2, 5, and
amazing.
10, right? 2, 6, and 10 is how they
That's a
finished.
great effort from the team overall. It's unbelievable.
That was that little move of